Chapter 1480. At this moment, the Heaven Lord laid out conditions that could move anyone's heart. The position of divine emissary, a third heaven, or even a god-king cultivation, and any one of the top 10 bloodlines. Although the price of these conditions was extremely high, it was worth it to use them to obtain the unique ninth god eye. Who? Zhao Feng took a deep breath and calmed himself down. If he didn't have a trump card for escaping, the Heaven Lord really might have persuaded him to exchange the ninth god eye for all of this. Of course, he could not refuse immediately, or else the Heaven Master would definitely notice something amiss. If it was anyone who had no way out, they probably wouldn't reject the temptation of such benefits. Give me some time to think. Zhao Feng pretended to be hesitant and struggling. No problem. You can stay here for now. If you need anything, just let the others know. The Heaven Lord was unperturbed by Zhao Feng's answer and calmly replied. After that, the Heaven Lord left. This person is not simple. Zhao Feng sighed in his heart. He clearly needed the ninth god eye, but the Heaven Lord was neither arrogant nor impatient. Impulsiveness was the devil. The Heavenly Lord was able to maintain his calm at any time and analyze everything in his mind. This kind of person made Zhao Feng treat him even more cautiously. After leaving the secret chamber, "How is it, my lord?" the protector asked softly. This kid is in danger, but he's still rather calm. He also understands the importance of the ninth god eye and is able to endure all the benefits I've offered. The Heaven Lord's expression suddenly became wise and far-sighted. What should we do next? The protector asked. First, arrange the ceremony to seize the god eye, and then prepare the illusory heaven array instrument. If he still doesn't agree in the end, take the ninth god eye by force. The Heaven Lord immediately replied, as if he had already come to a conclusion. The illusory heaven array instrument was a special tool created by combining the heaven's legacy races array and apparatus. It could cause a god lord's consciousness to fall into a dream without anyone noticing, rendering them powerless to resist. If Zhao Feng was willing to cooperate, then the illusory sky formation instrument would be useless. If he was unwilling, he could only use this tool to seize the god eye. Although the success rate was not high, it was the only way. The ceremony to seize the god eye and the illusory heaven array instrument would take 2 years. At the slowest, the ninth god eye would be in his hands in 2 years. 3 days later, the Heaven Lord once more went to Zhao Feng's secret chamber. At this moment, Zhao Feng was cultivating in the space-time robe, but he had also sensed the Heaven Lord's arrival. Your cultivation method is not bad, but it can only support you to the peak of the first sky. Although you have a lot of power of Upanishads, because of the different levels of your Upanishads, the power of your god power is not at its strongest state, the God Lord suddenly said. Zhao Feng immediately ended his seclusion. Even though the Divine Master was separated by a layer of space, he could still see Zhao Feng's cultivation situation. He could also see through his cultivation technique and point out his current flaws. Zhao Feng was both shocked and impressed. I've cultivated too many power Upanishads. I need some resources. I wonder if the great god could give me some? Zhao Feng asked tentatively. Since the other party took the initiative to guide him, he should agree to this request. That's no problem. Tell me what you need. The Heaven Lord nodded and agreed. Zhao Feng was stunned. He believed that the Heaven Lord would use this chance to bring up the matter of the ninth god eye. But the Heaven Lord had agreed without a second thought. The next day, 2 elders arrived. One of them was Bai Minghui. Here are the resources you need. Bai Minghui took out an interspatial dimension. Zhao Feng was taken aback. The Heaven Lord had actually sent 2 divine emissaries for such a minor matter. After taking the interspatial dimension, Zhao Feng scanned it with his divine sense. Everything he needed was there. What are the 2 of you doing? Zhao Feng looked at the 2 divine emissaries. They had not left after delivering the interspatial dimension. Your Excellency, the Heaven Lord, has been very busy recently. If you need anything, just tell us. Bai Minghui rolled his eyes at Zhao Feng. If not for the Heaven Lord's orders, he would have never done such a thing. Zhao Feng's mouth dropped open in surprise. This treatment was far too good. Moreover, If not for the fact that the Heaven Lord was busy, he might have come every day to keep him company. I need some materials to stabilize the core of my divine kingdom. Since that was the case, Zhao Feng bluntly stated his request. The refinement of the ancient dream realm was about to be completed, but the divine kingdom was too large, so the core might not be stable. The two divine emissaries were taken aback. They had never imagined that Zhao Feng would be so shameless as to immediately make such a request. The materials needed to stabilize the core of a divine kingdom were extremely precious in the outside world. The core of a divine kingdom also determined its quality. Whoosh! Bai Minghui left. 2 hours later, he returned with the jade spirit blood of heaven embryo, a treasure that could strengthen the core of the god nation. Many thanks. Zhao Feng took the heavenly embryo jade spirit blood without any hesitation. He then entered the ancient dream realm. In the outside world, Zhao Feng's sudden disappearance caused the eyes of the two divine emissaries to flash. A divine kingdom? Bai Minghui stared at the secret chamber. Relax. Not even a god-king skilled in the space law would be able to teleport out of this dimension. The other divine emissary didn't care. In the ancient dream realm, Zhao Feng quickly finished refining the heavenly embryo jade spirit blood and stabilized the core. In the following days, Zhao Feng used the resources from before to cultivate other intents. Whenever he ran out of resources, he would make a request. The two divine emissaries immediately agreed to Zhao Feng's request. In the blink of an eye, half a year passed. During this time, Zhao Feng had made significant progress. Previously, Zhao Feng had been preparing to leave after gathering some information. But the Heaven Lord had given him such good treatment that Zhao Feng was somewhat unwilling to leave. My intents have recently made great progress. God Lord Dark North, please be my sparring partner and give me some pointers. One day, Zhao Feng made a request. You want to fight with me? Bai Minghui couldn't help but smile. He was a top-class third heaven expert with the bloodline of the 6th-ranked heaven-mending race. Even though Zhao Feng had improved in many of his intents, he was still powerless against him. But Bai Minghui was forced to agree to Zhao Feng's request. Of course, Zhao Feng also imposed a restriction. Bai Minghui could not use his bloodline power. This was because Zhao Feng was currently only tempering his own strength. He did not want to use the Dream God Eye's power. Let's go somewhere else. Bai Minghui creased his brow and left. The two then went to a specialized training room. The space inside was so tough that even a third heaven god lord would find it difficult to damage. Begin, Zhao Feng called out. Oomph. Bai Minghui did not say a word as he circulated a mass of dark and chaotic god power and threw it out. Bai Minghui was extremely unwilling to engage in such a meaningless battle. He was beginning to loathe Zhao Feng. The divine power of a third heaven god lord. Zhao Feng's pupils constricted as he circulated his chaos origin divine power and formed a chaos origin divine sword. Currently, his chaos origin divine power had reached the 9th level, with the exception of the law of space. He followed the flaws the Heaven Lord had pointed out and made up for them. Bang! His sword slammed into Bai Minghui's divine power. His arm trembled, and he felt a numbing sensation. He immediately released even more chaos origin divine power. Boom! Bang! Crash! Bai Minghui's divine power was shattered by Zhao Feng's attack, but the chaos origin divine sword was also shattered. Good! Zhao Feng was elated. Previously, his chaos origin divine power was only equivalent to the divine power of an ordinary second heaven god lord. But after this period of cultivation and research, his divine power was now able to affect the divine power of a third heaven god lord. Of course, Bai Minghui had only casually attacked just now and hadn't used much of his power. In the distance, Bai Minghui was startled. His divine power is actually somewhat similar to my chaos origin divine power. Bai Minghui's gaze darkened. Although he was absent-minded, he had clearly seen what had happened just now. The attribute of Zhao Feng's chaos origin divine power was somewhat similar to his primal chaos energy. Just now, Zhao Feng's Chaos Origin Divine Sword had even devoured a sliver of his primal chaos energy, so it was now somewhat resistant to primal chaos energy. To think that this kid could cultivate this kind of divine power, he truly is extraordinary. Bai Minghui was rather surprised. After exchanging tensome blows, Bai Minghui gradually began to exert more strength, forcing Zhao Feng to retreat and go back to absorb the insights he had gained from the battle. Even so, Bai Minghui was still shocked. In just half a year, his opponent had grown much stronger. Every so often, Zhao Feng would seek out Bai Minghui of his own accord to temper himself. Bai Minghui felt extremely vexed. He had actually become this kid's sparring partner. This was the greatest disgrace of his life. During this period of time, Zhao Feng made many requests for cultivation resources. One day, Bai Minghui found the Protector. Protector, that Zhao Feng doesn't care about this place at all. He's making all sorts of unreasonable demands, ordering me and Brother Dongfang around. In my opinion, this kid has no intention of handing over the ninth god eye. Bai Minghui recounted all of Zhao Feng's crimes. This is the Heaven Lord's order, the Protector said without a second thought. The two divine emissaries also fell silent. This massive network of factions had only been able to develop to its current level because of the Heaven Lord's various decisions. The Heaven Lord must have his reasons for doing this, the Protector vaguely said. The Heaven Lord had given Zhao Feng two choices, but he had not explicitly said them. Everything would depend on Zhao Feng himself. If Zhao Feng agreed, this price would be worth it, and when the time came, Zhao Feng would become one of their people. If Zhao Feng still did not agree after 2 years, only death awaited him. These actions had essentially lowered Zhao Feng's guard, making his plan to seize the eye even more likely to succeed. In short, the Protector believed in the Heaven Lord's decisions. Bai Minghui and the other divine emissary returned to the secret chamber to continue watching over Zhao Feng. One day, the Heaven Lord arrived. Your Excellency, Bai Minghui and the other divine emissary respectfully bowed. At this time, Zhao Feng was still cultivating in the space-time robe. He was multitasking, one part of his mind focused on intent and law, while the other on eye bloodline techniques. Zhao Feng, your attainments in eye bloodline techniques aren't bad, but there are still a few flaws. The Heaven Lord stared with a profound gaze at Zhao Feng in the space-time robe. Zhao Feng's expression flickered as he ended his seclusion. Zhao Feng was now extremely interested in this Heaven Lord, even admiring him for being able to establish such an extraordinary faction. Bzzz. The Heaven Lord's eyes surged with a powerful and obscure eye intent. An eye bloodline? Zhao Feng was alarmed. He had always believed that the Heaven Lord was a member of the Heaven's legacy race. Did he have an eye bloodline? Moreover, why was the Heaven Lord activating his eye bloodline at a time like this? Chapter 1481. Bzzz. A powerful and obscure eye intent surged out of the Heaven Lord's eyes. An eye bloodline? Zhao Feng was alarmed. The two divine emissaries in the back of the secret chamber were extremely excited. Even now, they had never seen the Heaven Lord personally take action. It was rumored that the Heaven Lord had already reached the peak third heaven, the God King level. It was even rumored that the Heaven Lord's strength far surpassed that of ordinary God Kings, even approaching the God level. Of course, these were just rumors. Now that they were seeing it with their own eyes, how could they not be excited? Bzzz. The Heaven Lord's eyes became pitch black, like the abyss of death. Just a glance at them would cause one's heart to palpitate in fear. The Eye of Death. Zhao Feng was alarmed. At this moment, the Eye of Death that the Heaven Lord displayed was the most intense of all the eyes of death Zhao Feng had ever seen. If he didn't know that the Heaven Lord was a member of the Heaven's legacy race, he would have believed that the Heaven Lord was the God Eye of Death. The 8 great God Eyes born after the ancient era were all at the God level. Gods are the strongest existences in the fan universe, and they could not be killed or their eyes stolen. But if it wasn't a God Eye, it was definitely at the quasi-God Eye level. Eye bloodlines also have their own attributes. The Eye of Death contains the origin energy of death. Only when you truly understand this energy and its essence will you be able to fully unleash the power of death. The Heaven Lord calmly explained. But at this moment, his aura and appearance underwent a heaven-shaking transformation. At this moment, his pitch-black hair danced in the wind like a demon in the pitch-black night sky. There was not a shred of life on his body, making him seem cold and unfamiliar. It was like he had become one with the Eye of Death, the representative of death. Although death and life oppose each other, the end of death is rebirth, and the end of life is death. The two are closely related. As the Heaven Lord continued to speak, his Eye of Death began to fiercely ripple. Buzz. BZZ. Thick death law energy erupted from his eye, but under the Heaven Lord's complete control, it did not affect anything in the outside world. Once the death energy in the Heaven Lord's eyes reached a limit, his eyes suddenly began to shine with dark green light. In the blink of an eye, his entire eyes turned dark green. Zhao Feng's eyes widened in shock. The Heaven Lord's body was brimming with pure vitality, a vitality that all life forms yearn for. As for the Heaven Lord himself, he had become amiable and amiable. He seemed to have come from nature, like an ancient tree of life in an ancient forest. Eyes of life. Zhao Feng was shocked. The Eye of Death instantly turned into the Eye of Life. Moreover, the Heaven Lord had a thorough understanding of both eyes. The birth of life is invisibly accompanied by fate. The Heaven Lord faintly smiled. In a flash, his Eye of Life transformed into the Eye of Destiny. At this moment, he seemed like a wise man that knew all the secrets of the world, and he seemed illusory and unreachable. Just what? After the initial shock, Zhao Feng became even more solemn. He had never seen such a thing before. A person could have multiple eye bloodlines and use them as they pleased. Under normal circumstances, when two bloodlines were born in a person's body, they would either devour or fuse with each other. In addition, the Heaven Lord had already displayed 3 of the 8 great god I descendants' bloodlines. Zhao Feng couldn't help but speculate that he might have all 8 god I descendants' bloodlines. It was hard to imagine just how much power would be bestowed upon a single person with 8 bloodlines. Just what is his goal in coveting my 9th god eye? Zhao Feng suddenly thought of something and was once more stunned. At this moment, he even recalled the legend of the ancestral eye. It was said that when the 8 great god eyes fused together, one could summon the supreme ancestral eye. Of course, this was only a legend, and there was no way to verify its veracity. Moreover, the legend required the fusion of the 8 great god eyes, not a god I descendant bloodline. However, all of this was just a legend. No one knew for sure what the truth was. Zhao Feng also couldn't guess at what the Heaven Lord was planning. Behind the Heaven Lord, the 2 divine emissaries were also stunned. The other divine emissary also had a god I descendant bloodline, but in terms of control, he was far inferior to the Heaven Lord. I still have matters to attend to. The 2 of you continue to wait here for Zhao Feng's reply. After doing all this, the Heaven Lord left. In another secret base, Your Excellency, Heaven Lord, that junior still hasn't given you a reply? The Protector asked. A year had passed. He has no intention of voluntarily handing over the 9th god eye, the Heaven Lord calmly said. The Heaven Lord calmly said. From Zhao Feng's performance and Zhao Feng's expression just now, he had long ago come to this conclusion. Then we should still. The Protector's expression turned gloomy. There's no rush. These resources are nothing to us. This person can be considered a genius, and I don't really want to kill him. The Heaven Lord interrupted the Protector. Yes. The Protector did not continue. The Heaven Lord could already tell that Zhao Feng had no intention of submitting. But for the sake of this genius, the Heaven Lord did not care about Zhao Feng's recent unreasonable antics. The Protector sincerely admired the Heaven Lord's magnanimity. After the Heaven Lord left, Zhao Feng continued his seclusion to study his eye bloodline. He had obtained many inspirations from the Heaven Lord. Dreamification. Zhao Feng used the origin energy ability of the Dream God Eye In a flash, everything in front of him became dreamy and dazzling. The two divine emissaries also sensed this. At this moment, they felt extremely uncomfortable and indescribably restless. Zhao Feng used dreamification several times in the following period of time. The last time, the two divine emissaries even felt like their souls and divine bodies had inexplicably weakened. Within the space-time robe, the dreamification ability is even stronger than before. Zhao Feng opened his eyes, a faint smile on his lips. In truth, Zhao Feng's understanding of the dream god I had only deepened, so the power of his other dream eye bloodline techniques had also been strengthened. In the secret base, the Heaven Lord and the Protector stared at the image on the white screen. The ability of the ninth god eye? The Protector was completely focused on the screen. At the same time, the two divine emissaries messaged him, describing their various strange sensations. The ability of the ninth god eye is rather complicated. It's not the same as the other 8 great god eyes. The Heaven Lord's eyes dimmed. He had inadvertently discovered the ninth god eye, but it was a little different from what he had imagined. In the secret chamber, do you have a space ancestral artifact fragment? Zhao Feng gave the two divine emissaries a crafty smile. Ancestral artifact fragment? Bai Minghui almost cursed. Fortunately, he was confident that Zhao Feng could not leave this place. Asking for the ancestral artifact fragment was just borrowing. 3 days later, Bai Minghui returned and took out a weightless white cloth that seemed to flow with golden jade. This was the space ancestral artifact fragment. With the space ancestral artifact fragment in hand, Zhao Feng immediately entered the space-time robe to cultivate. He primarily cultivated the space law, which determined his cultivation level. Moreover, space-time was 1. If he obtained the space law fragment, he might be able to break through the bottleneck of his time intent. Seated cross-legged on the ground, Zhao Feng circulated the Chaos Heaven Void origin technique and began to cultivate the space law. In these 2 months, his cultivation had improved a lot. Half a year later, Zhao Feng's time intent, aided by the time and space ancestral artifact fragments, broke into the law realm. And with the appearance of the time law, Zhao Feng's cultivation once more had room to grow. After another 2 months, Zhao Feng's cultivation reached the peak of the first heaven. But this also meant that his art was about to reach the peak. If he wanted to advance, he would have to find an art or create his own. But Zhao Feng was more inclined to find an art. He needed to get stronger as quickly as possible, and creating his own art would take up a great deal of time. The value of second or third heaven art is immeasurable. Some powerful inheritances are no less valuable than an ancestral artifact fragment. Perhaps the only art suitable for Zhao Feng was the art of the heaven-mending race that Bai Minghui cultivated. Such a powerful art would be even more valuable. Divine Emissary Dark North, could you lend me your art so that I can comprehend it? Zhao Feng probed. Impossible. Bai Minghui was stunned at first, and then he angrily refused. But Bai Minghui sent this request to the Protector. Zhao Feng, unless you agree to cooperate with us, hand over the ninth god eye and sign a soul contract. The Protector's tone was rather gloomy. Arts from the second heaven level were extremely precious, so he naturally could not give them to Zhao Feng. Moreover, he knew that Zhao Feng currently had no intention of cooperating. I'll think about it. Zhao Feng lowered his head and thought, but he had already given up on this idea and began to think of other ways. Several days later, given your massive faction, who knows how many precious books and records you have? I just happen to want to gain a deeper understanding of the ninth god eye. Zhao Feng used the guise of the ninth god eye to probe. Come with me. Bai Minghui rolled his eyes at Zhao Feng. This person truly didn't want to let go of any benefits. First resources, then precious fragments, and now he wanted to enter the Heaven's Legacy Race's secret library. With the knowledge of the Heaven's Legacy Race, there was probably no sacred land that could compare to this library. Zhao Feng quickly arrived at a massive library. All the books in this library were arranged according to their categories, covering a wide range of topics. You can only enter the 5th floor at most. Bai Minghui warned as he left. Without another word, Zhao Feng plunged into the pile of books. He first searched for books on the 8 great god eyes. He then browsed through various books. In the meantime, he looked up a few books on the heaven-mending race. In the wild ancient era, this was the territory of the heaven-mending race. In the ancient era, the heaven-mending race was here. The books that Zhao Feng looked up are the main areas of activity of the heaven-mending race, as well as the rumors about the heaven-mending race that had appeared in later generations. After looking through these books, he learned of 5 famous incidents in which later generations had discovered the legacies of the heaven-mending race experts. Combining this with the locations of the heaven-mending race's activities and related suspicious points, Zhao Feng quickly determined 3 locations. These 3 locations were all likely to contain the secrets and legacies of the heaven-mending race. After doing all this, Zhao Feng looked up a few things that interested him, such as the supreme ancestral artifact, the 8 great god eyes, and the heaven's legacy race. The books here were extremely rich in content, allowing Zhao Feng to gain a deeper understanding of the fan universe. After spending a month in the Heaven's Legacy Race Library, Zhao Feng finally left. After several days of cultivation, Zhao Feng once more challenged Bai Minghui to a duel. In the training room, Bai Minghui coldly snorted, his eyes tinged with resentment, but he still attacked, unleashing a ball of chaos divine power. Chaos origin divine sword. Zhao Feng fused the space and time laws, as well as many other intents he had comprehended with his peak level 1 chaos origin divine power, forming a chaos origin divine sword. Boom! Bang! Zhao Feng slashed down with his sword. The stalemate between the two failed to last, and then both sides collapsed. What? Bai Minghui grimaced in shock and solemnity. Just now, he had used 70% of his power in order to force back Zhao Feng. He hadn't expected for Zhao Feng to receive it. It had only been a short time, but Zhao Feng's progress was like the difference between heaven and earth. Chapter 1482. Bai Minghui was a top-class 3rd heaven expert with the heaven-mending race bloodline, but his divine power attack had been blocked by a peak 1st heaven junior. This made Bai Minghui even more depressed and infuriated. Again, Zhao Feng called out, his heart somewhat excited. The reason his chaos origin divine power had advanced so much was naturally due to the birth of the time law and the amplification of level 9 intents. Most importantly, it was the space-time law. These 2 laws were originally one and greatly amplified his chaos origin divine power. Boom! Bai Minghui waved his hand, unleashing an enormous palm of chaotic light that shot toward Zhao Feng. This time, he was a little more serious and used 80% of his power. Die! Zhao Feng sensed that Bai Minghui's attack was much stronger than the last, so he put all his strength into it. The Chaos Origin Divine Sword in his hand swelled in size as he fiercely swung it. Boom! Bang! Many intents and laws circulated as divine power poured out. In the end, both attacks dissipated. What? This brat still managed to block it. Bai Minghui's expression darkened and turned even more solemn. Next time, he would use his full strength to defeat Zhao Feng. But Zhao Feng's next words left him fuming with rage. Let's end it here, Zhao Feng suddenly said and left the training room. He had only sought out Bai Minghui to understand what level his divine power had reached. Can I take a look around your territory? I'm very curious to see just how powerful your faction is. Zhao Feng asked after leaving the training room. Of course, Bai Minghui replied after a while. It was clear that he had been asking the protector. Bai Minghui and the other divine emissaries stood guard on either side of Zhao Feng, showing him around the divine kingdom. This divine kingdom had 3 Heaven's Legacy race cities that formed a massive mountain. At this time, Zhao Feng was standing on one of the mountains in the center. Along the way, many members came and went, passing through various buildings in an extremely busy manner. Even so, when the 2 divine emissaries passed by, everyone would respectfully bow. Who is this person? He actually has 2 divine emissaries following him. He might be an important member of the Yu family. Along the way, Zhao Feng heard a few conversations. The Yu family? What's so special about it? The Yu family is the surname of the Heaven's legacy race ancestor. The surname Yu is the surname of the ancestor of the Heaven's legacy race, the symbol of the purest Heaven's legacy race bloodline. Bai Minghui coldly snorted. The faction they belonged to was established by the third-ranked Heaven's legacy race, but Zhao Feng was so untactful that he still hadn't agreed to the Heaven Lord's request. Is it? Then the god surname should also be Yu. The Heaven Lord is also the Yu. It was no wonder that the Heaven's legacy race had targeted him after he killed Yu Hong. It turned out that Yu Hong had such a special status. Yu Saint, Yu Emperor Tier Divine, Chun Emperor, Yu Chun, Heaven King King Yu. He, Chun Chun Bi Yu Chun, Wu Emperor Feng, Chun Beat Hui Hui. Feng Yu Hui, Chun Beamed Hui. That's right. The Yu Hong you killed was the grandson of a certain Heaven's legacy race elder. Bai Minghui believed in the Heaven Lord's decision. Zhao Feng ignored him and continued to look around. In truth, he was already planning to leave. After all, he had already obtained enough benefits from his place. If he stayed too long, he was worried that something might happen. Before leaving, he had made this request so that he could obtain as much information as he could and understand the situation. He activated his left eye and could see many things that ordinary people could not see, things that the divine emissaries did not want him to see. He discovered that on the mountain to his left, there were many buildings, all of which were bases for cultivating precious plants. Zhao Feng could even occasionally see some rare resources from the ancient era. There was almost everything that could be found here. Of course, what he could see was probably not the most precious. The most valuable things were definitely hidden even more deeply. The majority of the buildings on the mountain to his right were related to bloodlines. The experts of this faction all possessed powerful bloodlines that would make others envious, but they were all transplanted. In addition, one could not just fuse with any bloodline one wanted. This was similar to the Heaven's legacy race city that Zhao Feng had entered. Before strengthening a bloodline, one needed to test it to see which bloodline was suitable. In addition, the chances of successfully fusing with a bloodline were extremely low. If one was not careful, one might explode and die. The core of the divine kingdom should be on the mountain in the center. Zhao Feng began to carefully examine the mountain. The forbidden ground in the back was completely indiscernible, protected by a powerful array. As Zhao Feng looked over, he sensed that there was a will in the forbidden ground observing him. Zhao Feng could vaguely make out an illusory robe. As Zhao Feng was observing Brum, the entire divine kingdom fiercely swayed, the heaven-earth yuan qi in turmoil. Whoosh! Several massive warships howled away from the divine kingdom. What's going on? Zhao Feng's eyes darkened as he began to carefully observe. Come, let's go back. Bai Minghui immediately called out as he led Zhao Feng back to the secret chamber. On the way, Zhao Feng saw many experts leaving the three mountains and flying off into the distance. Could it be that someone has discovered this place and is attacking? Zhao Feng guessed in his heart that it was about 80 to 90% correct. Perhaps this was why Bai Minghui immediately took Zhao Feng back, fearing that Zhao Feng would take advantage of the chaos to leave the divine kingdom. Zhao Feng did not resist and returned to the secret chamber. After activating the array, the two divine emissaries left in peace. In the outside world, several hundred figures floated in the gloomy sky. Almost all of these people were ancient gods, some even godlords. One of them was a white-robed figure holding a white fan, Tang Bai. Even higher up in the air was a white-robed elder with a translucent body and no aura. This old man has never heard of this mysterious faction. The white-robed elder muttered, Buzz, BZZ. Ripples appeared in the air as black warships charged out. These warships were filled with automatons, as well as the higher-level death god guards. Several powerful god lords appeared. A black-robed elder stepped forward and calmly said, What is the meaning of this from the gods sealing sacred land? This black-robed elder was the first divine emissary Zhao Feng had seen when he first arrived at the pitch-black palace. I'd like to ask you what the meaning of this is. Why did you attack a god lord of my god-sealing sacred land and try to kill him? A third heaven god lord stepped forward from the god-sealing race army. Next to him was Tang Bai. On the other side, Bai Ming Hui's face stiffened. This was his dereliction of duty. If he had killed Tang Bai, this sort of thing would not have happened. Within the Heaven's Legacy race's divine kingdom, the Heaven Lord and the Protector floated in the air. I didn't think that the people of the God-sealing sacred land would find this place. The Protector was rather surprised. Even if Bai Ming Hui had let a fish slip through the net, the people of the God-sealing sacred land shouldn't have been able to discover their hiding place. They were the ones who pushed for this. The Heaven Lord's deep eyes were emotionless, as if he was lost in his memories. So that's how it was. The Protector nodded and said no more. The Heaven's Legacy race was not at peace. The fact that he had not immediately realized what was going on proved that Yu Qianwu had personally pushed for all of this. Go, scare them into retreat, and then move the divine kingdom, the Heaven Lord calmly said, and then he returned to the rear. The Protector swiftly left the Heaven's Legacy race divine kingdom. Within the secret chamber, it's time to leave. Zhao Feng faintly smiled. At this moment, a deafening explosion came from the outside world, causing even space-time to fall into disorder. It seems like there really was a battle. Zhao Feng mentally sighed in shock as he sensed the heaven-shaking energy. A battle of this level would involve at least a third Heaven God Lord, and perhaps even a God King. But this divine kingdom still showed no signs of being destroyed. From this, one could see just how sturdy the core of this divine kingdom was. Haha, you guys keep fighting. I'll be leaving first. Zhao Feng chuckled as he seated himself cross-legged on the ground. Bai Ming Hui had said that not even a god king skilled in the space law could move out of this dimension. But Zhao Feng believed that his thought teleportation had nothing to do with the space law. Back then, he had directly returned to the ancient desolate realm of gods from the Outer Continent Zone. I'll take the space ancestral artifact fragment as a gift from you. Zhao Feng still had not returned the space ancestral artifact fragment he had borrowed. In the Forbidden Ground, the Heaven Lord could see what was going on with Zhao Feng. He saw that Zhao Feng was seated cross-legged on the ground. Believing that Zhao Feng was cultivating, he ignored him. Moreover, he needed to take complete control of the divine kingdom to prevent outsiders from sneaking in. He also needed to be prepared to move at a moment's notice. Boom, bang, crash. The tremors of the divine kingdom quickly subsided. In the outside world, the God-sealing sacred land was in full retreat. The white-robed elder in the sky grimaced and snorted. I hope that the Heaven's Legacy race will not make the same mistake as before. His opponent was the Heaven's Legacy race, and this was their territory. He had no chance of victory, and in that brief clash just now, he had been at a disadvantage. Following that, the members of the God-sealing sacred land all retreated. In a flash, all the members of the Heaven's Legacy race returned to their divine kingdom. At the same time, the divine kingdom quickly moved elsewhere. Forbidden area of the divine kingdom. Your Excellency, Heaven Lord, sooner or later, the other sacred lands, including the gods, will find out about us. The Protector looked a little worried. You don't have to worry about that, the Heaven Lord flatly said, a sharp light flashing through his profound eyes. Your Excellency, Zhao Feng, the Protector looked at the white light screen not far away and was shocked. He disappeared. The Heaven Lord's expression darkened, and the entire region became extremely oppressive. The Protector stood rooted to the ground, clearly shocked. Could it be that the God-sealing sacred land or the sovereign made a move in secret? The Protector rolled his eyes and speculated. The Heaven Master was personally guarding this place, but Zhao Feng had still disappeared. This was simply too absurd, and the God-sealing Holy Lands attack just now was very likely related to them. However, even if it was the God-sealing sacred land, they wouldn't have the ability to do so. Thus, the Protector guessed that there was a God Monarch ruler secretly making a move. Chapter 1483. Tina Zone, outside the burning heaven sea, busy The dreamy light twisted, and a figure slowly emerged from within. "Ah, I've safely left." Zhao Feng stood up, his entire body relaxed. Although he enjoyed superior treatment in the Heaven's Legacy race's divine kingdom, he was still in enemy territory, and there were all sorts of unfathomable individuals. Zhao Feng felt rather oppressed every day. If not for certain benefits, he would have left the divine kingdom long ago. In the Heaven's Legacy race's divine kingdom, Zhao Feng had unconditionally used many resources, and all the intents he cultivated had reached the peak of level 9. His time intent had even broken through into time law. His space law had also improved, allowing him to reach the peak of the first heaven. There was also the tempering he had with Baiming Hui and the personal guidance of the Heaven Lord. Zhao Feng's current strength was much higher than before. Of course, while improving himself, Zhao Feng did not forget about his subordinates. A small portion of the resources he had requested had been given to his subordinates and clones. In this period of time, Zhao Feng had moved the Black Destruction Dragon into the Dream Divine Kingdom, where it had quietly broken into the God Lord level. Of his clones, Zhao Kong was the most talented and had the eye of space-time, allowing him to smoothly become a God Lord. The other clones were still half-step God Lords. In comparison, Zhao Feng taking the risk to stay in the territory of the Heaven's Legacy race was worth it. The Heaven's Legacy race was probably furious to death at this moment and searching for him everywhere. This thought made Zhao Feng feel very comfortable. Swish! With a sweep of his divine sense, Zhao Feng discovered that there were many more experts around the burning heaven sea than before. Because of the appearance of a third heaven god lord, the gravitational pull of a major battle, and the fact that the ancestral artifact fragment had been taken, the flames of this forbidden zone were much weaker, and the danger level had also decreased. Perhaps this was precisely why those experts who had not dared to explore this dangerous zone before now wanted to go in and explore. The news that two factions had gathered in the burning heaven sea to fight over the ancestral artifact fragment had long ago spread. Over 80% of the people who had entered were here for the ancestral artifact fragment. In addition to these treasure seekers, there were also the experts of the Tianhe Zone's Holy Land. They formed a strong team to search for clues near the burning sky sea. The destruction of the top management of the two 5-star forces had a huge impact on the overall strength of the Tianhe region. Therefore, the Holy Land was eager to find out the cause of all this. Perhaps there was some shocking secret hidden in it. Whoosh! Zhao Feng's figure disappeared as he entered his dream divine kingdom. The ancient dream realm had been successfully refined into a divine kingdom by him, and he named it the Dream Divine Kingdom. At this moment, everything within the divine kingdom was under Zhao Feng's control. Zhao Feng arrived next to the divine kingdom's core. Through the divine kingdom's core, he successfully controlled the entire divine kingdom and became the ruler of this world. Buzz! The heaven and earth yuan qi quickly gathered. Zhao Feng had created an independent dimension that had the same characteristics as the space-time robe dimension. In addition, this space contained the characteristics of a dream origin source. This also meant that the ability to make dreams come true could be used invisibly. The effect of cultivating here was even stronger than that of ordinary holy lands. Whoosh! Sitting cross-legged on the ground, Zhao Feng took out a light piece of cloth, a space ancestral artifact fragment. Zhao Feng faintly smiled. At this moment, he was preparing to refine this ancestral artifact fragment. Zhao Feng, once you refine this space ancestral artifact fragment, you might be able to fuse the two of us into the space-time robe. The time ancestral artifact fragment proposed to Zhao Feng. Fusing the power of two time fragments into the space-time robe was equivalent to fusing the power of the ancestral artifact fragment into the space-time robe, greatly increasing its power. It can be done like this? Zhao Feng was pleasantly surprised. There was no need to mention the power of the ancestral artifact fragment, but if he fused the power of two ancestral artifact fragments together, it would naturally be even stronger. Fusing a time fragment alone into the space-time robe won't be very effective, but with the space fragment, it should be very easy to fuse and use. The space-time fragment added. Okay, let's do it. Zhao Feng immediately began to refine the space ancestral artifact fragment. With his previous experience and Zhao Feng's space law, it took him less than 3 months to successfully refine the space fragment. Zhao Feng then began to attempt to fuse the 2 ancestral artifact fragments into the space-time robe. At the start, the 2 ancestral artifact fragments had different attributes, causing them to repel each other. But the space-time robe could accommodate both ancestral artifact fragments. Gradually, the 2 ancestral artifact fragments fused into the space-time robe. At this moment, the space-time robe glowed with a dazzling silver light, as if it had been reborn. All the damage it had sustained had been repaired. Of course, the ancestral artifact fragment was not truly fusing with the space-time robe, only temporarily residing within it. Space-time barrier. Zhao Feng activated the space-time robe and the 2 ancestral artifact fragments within it. In a flash, an ethereal layer of light spread out from the space-time robe and surrounded Zhao Feng. Thoosh! Zhao Feng thrust out a finger, unleashing a Chaos Origin sword bolt. The moment the Chaos Origin sword bolt entered the space-time barrier, it immediately slowed down and its power weakened. By the time it left the space-time barrier, the Chaos Origin sword bolt had completely vanished. Zhao Feng then tested the other abilities of the space-time robe. The results were all to Zhao Feng's satisfaction. In summary, fusing the 2 fragments into the space-time robe was equivalent to fusing the power of the 3 together. It was much better and more convenient than using them separately. Buzz. BZZZ. At this moment, a strange ripple came from Zhao Feng's god altar. As his mind seeped in, Zhao Feng discovered that the god altar had given birth to a ball of chaotic and gloomy energy. While refining the ancestral artifact fragment and fusing with it, Zhao Feng had split off a part of his mind to cultivate primal chaos energy. A look of pleasant surprise appeared on Zhao Feng's face. When he was captured by Bai Minghui, he had activated his heaven-mending race bloodline and unleashed primal chaos energy to capture Zhao Feng. For this reason, Zhao Feng was no stranger to this energy. Although the heaven-mending race was ranked 6th, this primal chaos energy was even stronger than the origin energy of the 5th-ranked God Martial race. As expected, when the Chaos Heaven Void origin technique is perfected, it can produce a sliver of primal chaos energy. Although there was only this little bit of primal chaos energy, it had been condensed from many laws and intents, making it extremely pure. BZZ. Zhao Feng used this sliver of primal chaos energy to form the Chaos Origin Divine Sword. Boom! Bang! The sword slashed out, and an enormous wave of primal chaos energy rumbled out. Moreover, this energy seemed to be unrestrained, and it even madly absorbed other energies along the way. Its destructive power was also extremely great. Boom! Zhao Feng had carved out a massive ravine in the ground, and the aura of primal chaos still lingered on it. The devouring power has become even stronger. After fusing with the primal chaos energy, the Chaos Origin Divine Sword had become even more stable, and its devouring and containment abilities had increased. Its power had also increased significantly. He estimated that after fusing with the primal chaos energy, the Chaos Origin Divine Sword would be able to contend against Bai Minghui's divine power without activating his bloodline. Bai Minghui's primal chaos energy could only be cultivated by relying on his bloodline. Zhao Feng, on the other hand, had completely relied on himself to condense it. Combined with the laws of space and time, if he attacked with pure primal chaos energy, he would actually have a certain advantage in terms of power. However, the fact that it had produced a sliver of primal chaos energy meant that the Chaos Heaven Void origin technique had already reached its peak. If Zhao Feng wanted to advance, he would either have to find a technique or create his own. The other method was to let time accumulate. Once he had accumulated enough resources, he would naturally break through. In truth, many god lords of the ancient desolate realm of gods used the third method to increase their cultivation. For this reason, they were all extremely old, most of them billions of years or even 10 billion years old. Zhao Feng naturally could not wait that long. The fastest way to increase his cultivation was to find a cultivation technique. Fortunately, I was able to find a lot of information on the heaven mending race in the secret library of the Heaven's Legacy race. Zhao Feng smiled faintly. He was confident that the technique most suited to him was the technique of the heaven mending race. Back in the secret library, he had combined all the information and determined that there were 3 locations that might contain the secrets, legacies, and treasures of the heaven mending race. One of these locations was the Tongtai Zone next to the Tina Zone. Get ready to move out. Finding the heaven mending race's technique had become his top priority. Before moving out, Heavenly Closure Seal. Zhao Feng used the heavenly closure sealing art that Tang Bai had given him to form a heavenly closure seal that began to seal away the power of his dream god eye. The Tianhe Zone's sacred body was currently investigating the disappearance of the god lords of the 2 5-star factions. If someone recognized Zhao Feng as the 9th god eye, it would be bad. Zhao Feng was confident that the Heaven's Legacy race had a network of factions in the Tianhe Zone. If the Heaven Lord knew that Zhao Feng was here, it wouldn't take long for a top-class expert to capture him. Now that he was in the hands of the Heaven Lord would definitely be on guard. Even if Zhao Feng had thought teleportation, he probably wouldn't be able to escape. Whoosh! Zhao Feng's dreamy silver hair gradually dimmed, losing its spiritual energy and becoming like ordinary hair of color. After sealing away the dream god eye, Zhao Feng also sealed away his cultivation energy. Only then did he leave the dream divine kingdom and head for the Tongtai Zone. In less than half a year, Zhao Feng safely arrived at the Tongtai Zone. In a large exchange spiritual hall, Zhao Feng purchased a rough map of the Tongtai Zone. The target is near Pure Yang Palace. Pure Yang Palace was one of the 3 5-star factions of the Tongtai Zone. Its members cultivated the Yang Flame, Dao, and possessed extraordinary strength. The little thieving cat's reaction. Zhao Feng, who was just about to set off, suddenly stopped. Just now, the pet contract between him and the little thieving cat had suddenly sensed something. Although the reaction had been fleeting, Zhao Feng was sure that the little thieving cat was in the Tongtai Zone and that it wasn't too far from his destination. Zhao Feng had left the Xiling Zone and come to the Tianhe Zone precisely to search for the little thieving cat. But he was only halfway there when he was disrupted by the ancestral artifact fragment and the Heaven's Legacy race. Wonderful! Zhao Feng faintly smiled. The little thieving cat had accompanied Zhao Feng ever since he arrived at the Broken Moon clan. After not seeing the thieving cat for so long, Zhao Feng truly did miss it. Chapter 1484. After confirming his goal, Zhao Feng set out for Pure Yang Palace. On the way, Zhao Feng passed by a large exchange spiritual hall. When he heard about the Heaven's Legacy race, he paused for a few moments. Did you hear? It's rumored that some time ago, a powerful faction of the Heaven's Legacy race appeared in the ancient desolate realm of gods. The third-ranked intelligent race of the 10,000 ancient races? When people heard about the Heaven's Legacy race, they were mostly awed. The Heaven's Legacy race was the third-ranked race of the 10,000 ancient races, the most intelligent race. They had once created weapons of destruction that could destroy the heavens and earth. They had even attempted to replicate a perfect ancient race bloodline, and they had even attempted to create a time machine to travel back in time and change history. Their various ideas left the 10,000 ancient races stunned. It was precisely because of this that their unbridled plundering and development had offended many ancient races. In the end, they were heavily injured by the combined attacks of many races and forced to go into hiding. He hadn't expected for news of the Heaven's Legacy race to appear after so long. It seems like that battle exposed the whereabouts of the Heaven's Legacy race. Zhao Feng speculated. Although he had been in his secret chamber at the time, He had been able to sense the massive disturbance outside the divine kingdom. It was impossible to conceal such a large disturbance. However, they only knew that the Heaven's Legacy race had appeared. As for what the Heaven's Legacy race was doing, they had no idea. After staying there for a while, Zhao Feng gained some understanding of the place. In his view, the Heaven Lord was an ambitious person, and the Heaven's Legacy race definitely had a goal that few people knew about. But Zhao Feng couldn't be bothered to care about all that. He only needed to increase his strength as quickly as possible to protect himself. Besides the news of the Heaven's Legacy race, there was also news of the Ninth God Eye. People only knew that the Ninth God Eye had appeared, but they didn't know anything else. After asking around, Zhao Feng learned that the faction that had attacked the Heaven's Legacy race was the God-sealing Sacred Land. Tang Bai's faction. No wonder. Back then, Zhao Feng had seen Tang Bai escape. Tang Bai's status in the Sacred Land was definitely not low. He must have told the Sacred Land about the Ninth God Eye. In other words, the God-sealing Sacred Land had not attacked the Heaven's Legacy race for revenge. Their true goal was probably the Ninth God Eye. Because of this, the news of the God-sealing Sacred Land's failure spread far and wide. After understanding the situation, Zhao Feng left the Exchange Spiritual Hall and continued on his way. 10 days later, when he passed by a lake, rumble. From afar, the earth-shattering sounds of battle could be heard. God Lord. Zhao Feng immediately deduced the strength of the fighter. It was extremely rare for God Lords to fight in the ancient desolate realm of gods. Zhao Feng activated his left eye and saw that a pursuit was taking place in the distance. What made Zhao Feng speechless was that the other party was approaching him. The person running in front had a head of light red hair and wore a golden robe. His face was upright, and he was a first heaven god lord. The pursuers were two at the first heavenly layer, and one of them was at the peak of the first heavenly layer. Furthermore, these two pursuers were surrounded by a dim stream of light, and their appearances could not be seen clearly. The red-haired elder glanced at Zhao Feng before flying away. Because Zhao Feng was concealing his energy, the red-haired elder believed that Zhao Feng's cultivation level was too low, so he ignored him. After all, Zhao Feng also had a very young appearance. But to Zhao Feng's surprise, the two god lords behind him viciously glared at Zhao Feng. This kid saw it. Kill. One of the god lords with a rather elderly voice called out. The moment he finished speaking, a massive palm of gloomy energy howled toward Zhao Feng. At this moment, the lake below began to churn, massive waves rising into the sky. Oomph. Zhao Feng coldly snorted in displeasure. He circulated his chaos origin divine power and punched. Bang! This seemingly ordinary punch obliterated the god lord's attack. This sight caused the god lord who had launched the attack to tremble. I made an error in judgment, the other middle-aged man said. Good sir, please forgive us for our offense just now. The elderly voice spoke once more. They were in the middle of pursuing a god lord, and if they provoked another god lord, things would become troublesome. Thus, he immediately apologized to Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng saw that the other party was apologizing, so he paid them no more attention and prepared to leave. But at this moment, the red-haired elder's eyes flashed as he stared at Zhao Feng. Good sir, please save my life. This old man is willing to give you a large number of god crystals and resources. The red-haired elder's voice was tinged with a pleading tone. He was already injured, and there was a high chance that he would lose his life in the pursuit of two powerful god lords. Zhao Feng said nothing and turned to leave. He had no interest in the god crystals and resources of an ordinary first heaven god lord. Moreover, this was the business of another god lord, so it was not his place to interfere. Many thanks. Good sir, take care. The two people in the black light faintly smiled. Surrender. One of them immediately called out. Swish, swish, swish. A spear appeared in his hand, unleashing countless rays of dark light that made it impossible to dodge. Good sir, don't go. Pyryang Palace will surely thank you for saving my life. The red-haired elder was in a perilous situation, and he once more pleaded with Zhao Feng for help. Pyryang Palace? Zhao Feng's eyes flashed as his expression flickered. He was planning on going to Pure Yang Palace to take a look. From the various records in the Heaven's Legacy Race's secret storehouse, he had concluded that the territory of the Tongtai Zone's Pure Yang Palace might contain the secrets, legacies, and treasures of the Heaven-Mending race. Pure Yang Palace would definitely not directly tell him some of these secrets. But if he saved the God Lord of Pure Yang Palace, they would definitely do their best to help him. Zhao Feng suddenly turned to the red-haired elder. "Good sir, please do not worry about this matter. Once we finish off this person, we are willing to give you half of the things in his interspatial dimension." The two pursuers saw that Zhao Feng had suddenly turned around and knew that the situation had changed. Zhao Feng appeared to be very young, at most of first heaven. Even if he and the red-haired elder worked together, they would still be no match for the two of them. But if two god lords worked together, they would not be able to do anything to them. Giving away half of a god lord's wealth was already extremely generous. After all, Zhao Feng had only run into them by chance. "Good sir, Pure Yang Palace is a 5-star faction. When the time comes, I invite you to be a guest at Pure Yang Palace. If there is anything you need, just say the word." The red-haired elder saw that there was still a chance and added. At this moment, Zhao Feng was his only hope for survival. "Get out of here!" Zhao Feng called out to the two god lords shrouded in dark light. He had already decided to save the red-haired elder. What? The two pursuers were rather surprised. Even if Zhao Feng wanted to interfere in this matter, wasn't his attitude a little too arrogant? He was so young and only a first heaven at most. Even if he worked together with the injured red-haired elder, they would still be no match for the two of them. Refusing a toast only to drink a forfeit, Zhao Feng coldly snorted, chaos origin divine power surging out of him. At this moment, the world dimmed as all the energy in the vicinity gathered toward Zhao Feng. The two pursuers froze in shock as they sensed that something bad was about to happen. At this moment, Zhao Feng punched, and a dark fist image the size of a mountain rumbled toward the two pursuers. So strong. Only in the face of Zhao Feng's attack did the two of them realize just how powerful Zhao Feng was. Just the divine power in this fist image made the two of them tremble in fear, and they did not dare to take it head-on. Retreat. The two immediately made their decision. After all, with Zhao Feng interfering in this matter, they had already failed. Moreover, Zhao Feng was so powerful. Boom! Bang! The two worked together to use defensive techniques to barely block Zhao Feng's attack. The two then swiftly left. As for the red-haired elder, his mouth was wide open, and it took a while for him to recover from his shock. "Many thanks, good sir, for saving my life." The red-haired elder solemnly looked at Zhao Feng. He had previously doubted Zhao Feng's strength, but Zhao Feng had scared away those two pursuers just now. For him to possess such strength at such a young age, he was assuredly a member of some sacred land. "Didn't you just invite me to Pure Yang Palace as a guest?" "That's exactly what I was thinking." Zhao Feng faintly smiled. "Since good sir wishes to go, Pure Yang Palace naturally welcomes you." The red-haired elder was rather surprised, but he still delightedly said. En route, Zhao Feng learned that this red-haired elder was called Ao Hongguang, an elder of Pure Yang Palace. On this trip, he had been ambushed and then encountered Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng still gave the name Zhao Wang and said that he was a god lord of the life sacred land. This way, he could reduce the suspicion of the other party. The life sacred land was very far away, and it had many god lords. The little thieving cat's senses are getting closer and closer. En route, Zhao Feng used the pet contract to sense that the little thieving cat was nearby. As they advanced, Zhao Feng discovered that the little thieving cat was near Pure Yang Palace. The little thieving cat had the ability to perform divination. Perhaps it had already learned that Zhao Feng was heading to Pure Yang Palace and was waiting for him there. Just as expected, upon reaching Pure Yang Palace, Zhao Feng confirmed this point. Pure Yang Palace was situated atop a towering mountain range. Its buildings were golden and red and exuded a fierce and warm energy. In the central hall of Pure Yang Palace, the upper echelon members of Pure Yang Palace had gathered. The Pure Yang Palace master was a tall and slender red-robed elder. He was a second heaven with a rather powerful aura. There was also a middle-aged man, a first heaven god lord. This time, I truly have to thank good sir. The Pure Yang Palace master expressed his gratitude several times. Pure Yang Palace had a total of 3 god lords. Zhao Feng saving the life of one of them could be said to have affected the fate of Pure Yang Palace. Good sir, if you have any requests, you can state them. Pure Yang Palace will do its utmost to satisfy them. The Pure Yang Palace master suddenly said. In his view, Zhao Feng had saved A.O. Hongguang's life and had personally come to Pure Yang Palace for some reason. This Zhao truly did come this time for a matter. Zhao Feng paused for a moment. This matter concerned the secret of the heaven-mending race, so he could not directly mention it. He needed to find a different method of inquiry and investigation. At this moment, whoosh, an elder of the Pure Yang Palace came here in a hurry. What's the matter? Don't you see that I'm receiving an honored guest? The Pure Yang Palace master was slightly angered. Palace master, it's that cat again. The elder's expression was a little ugly. Chapter 1485. Palace master, it's that cat again. The elder's expression was a little ugly. The word cat instantly enraged the Pure Yang Palace master, and he stood up. Palace master, what's going on with the cat? Zhao Feng was now convinced that the cat of Pure Yang Palace was definitely the little thieving cat. A year ago, a cat came out of nowhere. It was rather strange and wandered around the Pure Yang Palace. At first, the Pure Yang Palace did not bother with it, but unexpectedly, this cat actually sneaked into the heavenly garden and stole and ate a lot of rare treasures. The Pure Yang Palace master gave a simple explanation. In truth, Pure Yang Palace had sensed that this cat was unusual and prepared to capture it, but it had failed time and time again. The Celestial Garden was a separate space where Pure Yang Palace cultivated all sorts of precious resources. Later on, the thieving cat snuck in and ate quite a few treasures. Palace master, that cat snuck into the Celestial Garden again. The elder who had just come and said, Palace master, this cat is too crafty. There's no way to capture it. It's better to kill it and then drive it away. A.O. Hongguang, who had some understanding of the thieving cat, suggested. Let's go. The Pure Yang Palace master's eyes bloomed with red light as he angrily left. The group soon arrived at the Celestial Garden. This was a land of wondrous treasures brimming with yuan qi, and many priceless herbs and treasures were planted here. Once the god lords and ancient gods entered, they scanned the place with their divine senses and saw a silver-gray, thieving cat holding a red, crystalline fruit and eating it. Little thieving cat. Zhao Feng faintly smiled. The cat wantonly eating in the Celestial Garden was none other than the little thieving cat. The little thieving cat was slightly larger than before. It had probably harmed quite a few people after leaving Zhao Feng. That's celestial fire, true yang fruit, a treasure that only bears fruit once every 1,000,000 years. The Pure Yang Palace master angrily stamped his feet as he stared at the fruit in the cat's hand. Whoosh! 3 god lords surrounded the thieving cat from 3 sides. But before the 3 god lords could get close, the little thieving cat sensed them and swallowed the fruit. After that, it transformed into a streak of silver light and fled into the distance. After it, the 3 divine masters did not give up. Although the little thieving cat's speed far surpassed that of the 3 god lords, they were attacking from multiple directions. Moreover, the space here wasn't very big, so the little thieving cat couldn't possibly dodge. But in a head-on battle, the little thieving cat did not fear a first heaven god lord. Buzz! The little thieving cat extended its claws. Mysterious characters and diagrams appeared on its claws, and a layer of gray ice slowly formed on its claws. The little thieving cat suddenly appeared next to A.O. Hongguang and swiped with its claws. Be careful. It's the power of the icy Nether clan. The Pure Yang Palace master reminded. They had fought with the thieving cat for a short time before, so they had some understanding of its abilities. Oomph. A.O. Hong Wong snorted coldly. His body released a faint red flame as he punched out. Boom, boom. Comparing the two, the little thieving cat's ice nether race power was stronger. Its powerful Yin energy not only corroded the Yang fire, but it even froze some of the Yang fire. But at this moment, the other two god lords approached the little thieving cat. Xiao, the little thieving cat, left behind a blur as it vanished. You're injured, or else you might have been able to keep that thieving cat a little longer. The Pure Yang Palace Master sighed. A.O. Hong Wong had just returned, and his injuries had not yet healed. Junior brother, you seem to be injured as well. A.O. Hong Wong looked at the middle-aged man. This was the third god lord of Pure Yang Palace. You might not know, but not long ago I was ambushed. Fortunately, I noticed it ahead of time and managed to escape with my life. The middle-aged man's face was filled with hatred. His injuries were more severe, so even after all this time, he had not completely recovered. Could it be Shadowstream Peak? A.O. Hong Wong speculated. Shadowstream Peak was a 5-star faction of the Tongtai Zone, and it had never gotten along with Pure Yang Palace. Kill it. The Pure Yang Palace Master angrily snorted. The other two god lords of Pure Yang Palace had both been ambushed. This had already infuriated the Pure Yang Palace Master, and now, this thieving cat had come to challenge his patience. At this moment, the Pure Yang Palace Master had completely given up on capturing the thieving cat, choosing to just kill it. Uish. The three god lords charged at the thieving cat. Meow. The little thieving cat looked at the three god lords and pointed its head down, making a disdainful gesture at them. This made the three god lords of Pure Yang Palace even more furious. Uish. The little thieving cat transformed into a streak of light and vanished. How did this thieving cat get so fast? The Pure Yang Palace Master was startled. The thieving cat was now much faster than before. After chasing it for some time, the three god lords were only able to keep up with the thieving cat, not injuring it in the slightest. On the other hand, the Celestial Garden was a scene of desolation. Of course, the three god lords had done their utmost to restrain the damage, but the little thieving cat had intentionally fled to the ground, so there was nothing they could do. Everyone, why don't you leave this thieving cat to me? At this moment, the distant Zhao Feng spoke. Brother Zhao, how can we do that? The Pure Yang Palace Master dryly laughed, his face instantly turning red. A mighty 5-star faction had been reduced to this level by a thieving cat. Zhao Feng had seen enough of this joke. I'm a beast tamer. Dealing with this little fellow is my specialty, Zhao Feng added. At this point, if the Pure Yang Palace Master still did not agree, he would seem rather unreasonable. Okay, I'll have to trouble Brother Zhao. The Pure Yang Palace Master's expression froze for a moment before he agreed. They had previously contacted beast tamers to tame the thieving cat, but beast tamers below the God Lord level were also helpless against it. Beast tamers above the God Lord level were far too rare, and it would not be easy to request their help. They hadn't expected for Zhao Feng to be a beast tamer at such a young age. Uish. Zhao Feng immediately flew toward the little thieving cat. Brother Zhao, do you need our help? The Pure Yang Palace Master asked. In truth, he didn't want to help. A God Lord beast tamer, and the three of them were definitely capable of taming the thieving cat. But that way, the thieving cat would still be Zhao Feng's, and it would make them seem incompetent. They hoped that Zhao Feng would not be able to tame the thieving cat and would just drive it away. There's no need. Zhao Feng immediately refused, his speed suddenly increasing as his body became erratic. The Pure Yang Palace Master faintly smiled as he thought to himself, youngsters sure are arrogant. But a moment later, his face went slack. So fast, A.O. Hong Wong's eyes flashed. At this moment, the speed Zhao Feng displayed was already extremely close to the little thieving cat's. Meow. The little thieving cat yelped in fear and hurriedly fled. Zhao Feng followed, his left eye surging with intent. Kaboom! A thunderous aura that could shake the heavens burst out in the soul dimension and attacked forward. The little thieving cat was affected by this soul intent, and its body went stiff as it began to fall. Ooish! Before it could land, the little thieving cat steadied itself and fled once more, a look of panic on its face. But Zhao Feng was even faster. He once more approached the thieving cat, his left eye unleashing a powerful illusion Dao energy that engulfed the thieving cat. The three god lords were alarmed, but they said nothing. Bzzz. Zhao Feng's illusion Dao energy engulfed the little thieving cat's soul and gradually brought it under his control. Zhao Feng walked up to the little thieving cat and sent his soul intent into its body. Of course, all of this was just an act between him and the little thieving cat. In order to convince the other god lords, he even had the little thieving cat struggle a little longer. A little while later, the little thieving cat opened its eyes. It appeared rather obedient as it crouched down next to Zhao Feng. As expected of a beast tamer, you really do have a way of dealing with strange beasts. The Puryong Palace master dryly coughed and laughed. Brother Zhao's beast-taming skills are extraordinary. Ao Hongwang couldn't help but sigh in praise. This cat has never had a violent personality, so taming it isn't very difficult. Zhao Feng immediately explained with a smile. Meow. The little thieving cat jumped onto Zhao Feng's shoulder, its lips curling into a crafty smile. Brother Zhao has helped Puryong Palace resolve another problem. For what matter has Brother Zhao come here? Puryong Palace will do its utmost to help. The Puryong Palace master added. Zhao Feng had helped Puryong Palace twice in a row, and he was also a god lord of the life-sacred land. Puryong Palace was already planning on befriending Zhao Feng and doing its utmost to satisfy Zhao Feng's requests. I've come to investigate a few matters. As for the specifics, forgive me for not being able to divulge them. Zhao Feng mysteriously said. The Puryong Palace masters nodded, believing that Zhao Feng was carrying out a secret mission for the life-sacred land. The group left the Celestial Garden. The Puryong Palace master immediately warned the others to keep the matter just now strictly confidential. The three of them had failed to deal with the thieving cat, but an outsider had done so. If this news got out, it would affect the reputation of Puryong Palace. The moment they left the Celestial Garden, the primal chaos energy in Zhao Feng's god altar inexplicably trembled. Zhao Feng paused in shock. It seems like the secret of the heaven-mending race might be near Puryong Palace. His gaze scanned the area, ultimately stopping on a gloomy space across from him. With his divine sense and space law, Zhao Feng discovered that there was a hidden dimension here. Palace Master, what's up ahead? Zhao Feng asked. Oh, that's one of the many trial grounds of Puryong Palace. It's for disciples below the ancient god level, and it's opened once every 100 years. The Puryong Palace Master was rather confused as to why Zhao Feng was asking about this, but he still answered truthfully. Zhao Feng then suggested that he enter the library of Puryong Palace and look up a few materials. The Puryong Palace Master immediately agreed, and he unconditionally opened up all his collection of books. Recently, two god lords of Puryong Palace had been ambushed, giving the Puryong Palace Master an ill foreboding. When he learned that Zhao Feng wanted to stay in Puryong Palace for a while, he was naturally more than happy to do so. After all, Zhao Feng was rather strong. Even if Puryong Palace encountered crisis, he might be able to avert it. Thieving cat, why did you come here? Zhao Feng messaged the little thieving cat. It appeared that the little thieving cat had not been idle while it was away. It had probably harmed quite a few people, or else its strength would not have increased so much. Of course, the little thieving cat's appearance and its cooperation with Zhao Feng in putting on a show made Puryong Palace trust Zhao Feng even more. Far to the east of Puryong Palace, a group of people stealthily advanced while concealing their auras. Your two ambushes didn't work, the bull-horned elder leading them coldly said. The two god lords next to him couldn't help but lower their heads. When we were pursuing Ao Hongwang, we failed because another god lord suddenly appeared. A middle-aged man muttered. That youth is still in Puryong Palace. The dark-faced elder frowned. These two were none other than the two god lords who had pursued Ao Hongwang. With God Lord Cloudmoon's help, Pure Yang Palace is powerless to resist. We can eliminate that brat as well. The bull-horned elder snorted. They had ambushed the god lords of Pure Yang Palace twice, and although they had failed to kill them, they had heavily injured them. This was when Pure Yang Palace was at its weakest. If you lie to me about the treasure of the heaven-mending race, Shadowstream Peak can forget about having an easy time in the future. Behind the bull-horned elder was a woman dressed in a white cloud robe, her beautiful figure shrouded in a hazy mist. Chapter 1486. On the top floor of the library, Zhao Feng was reading through the secrets of Pure Yang Palace. This even included the deeds of the founding ancestor of Pure Yang Palace, as well as the history of Pure Yang Palace's development. The founding ancestor of Pure Yang Palace was a third heaven god lord. At the time, Pure Yang Palace was extremely glorious, but it had now declined. There were also detailed records of the reason for Pure Yang Palace's decline. It was said that an enemy of the Pure Yang Palace master had come looking for it. Zhao Feng filtered through all of these matters. Perhaps some of them contained clues about the heaven-mending race. Afterward, Zhao Feng looked through some of the major events near the Pure Yang Palace, but he didn't find anything suspicious. Right, that secret dimension from before. Zhao Feng suddenly recalled that when he left the Celestial Garden, the primal chaos energy in the god altar had reacted. At that moment, he happened to see a training space not far away. Information on the Pure Yang Palace trial dimension. Zhao Feng quickly found the books that recorded this information and began to read through them. Pure Yang Palace had 13 trial dimensions, all of them aimed at disciples of different levels. The primary purpose of the trial dimensions was to temper the disciples and improve their abilities in all aspects. The Yellow Dragon Secret Dimension, one of the 6 secret dimensions left behind by the founding ancestor of Pure Yang Palace. It's aimed at disciples below the ancient god level. Zhao Feng quickly found a secret dimension he had seen before. The Yellow Dragon Secret Dimension was not very dangerous for those below the ancient god level, but in the records, several generations of true god prodigies of Pure Yang Palace had fallen inside. Afterward, the upper echelon members of the Yellow Dragon Secret Dimension went in to investigate. Many of them were accidents or killings, but even more were unknown. Zhao Feng browsed through the information on the other secret dimensions and determined that this Yellow Dragon Secret Dimension was the most suspicious. But Zhao Feng did not immediately come to a conclusion. Instead, he continued to search for information. On the second day, Zhao Feng even began to personally stroll through Pure Yang Palace, gathering information. Zhao Feng even asked the disciples who had participated in the Yellow Dragon Secret Dimension. Because he was accompanied by the enforcement elder of Pure Yang Palace, all the disciples answered any questions Zhao Feng had. Pure Yang Palace Inner Court Disciple Area. When the golden-robed old man saw Zhao Feng's face, his expression flickered, and he immediately hid. How could it be him? He is actually with the law enforcement elder of the Pure Yang Palace. The golden-robed old man was greatly shocked, his expression somewhat dazed. He couldn't help but recall his experiences in the Continent Zone. At that time, he was so glorious. He was the strongest demigod in the Continent Zone, the Dragon Monarch. However, his title as the strongest expert had been snatched away by Zhao Feng. Even the status of the Grand Imperial Hall had wavered because of Zhao Feng's Hall of Gods. After coming to the ancient, desolate realm of gods, True God Dragon Emperor spent almost 10 years before finally contacting his ancestors. After entering Pure Yang Palace, True God Dragon Emperor, with the care of his ancestors and his own hard work, had reached rank 4 True God. He guessed that the current Zhao Feng might be stronger than him. Unexpectedly, even the law enforcement elder of the Pure Yang Palace was respectful to Zhao Feng. Even if he used his ancestors' connections, he probably wouldn't be able to threaten Zhao Feng. But he was unwilling. That night, True God Dragon Emperor found one of his ancestors. This ancestor had a high status in Pure Yang Palace. He was a rank 8 ancient god. Ancestor, do you remember the Zhao Feng I mentioned to you before? True God Dragon Emperor softly asked. A withered elder seated cross-legged on the ground nodded, but said nothing. He had heard Dragon Emperor mention him before, but he was just an enemy of the continent zone, so he didn't take him to heart. I just saw him in Pyongyang Palace, but he shouldn't be from Pyongyang Palace. Moreover, he seems to have a very good relationship with the law enforcement elder. True God Dragon Emperor explained everything. The law enforcement elder? Zhao Feng? The wrinkled old man opened his eyes, revealing a hint of doubt. He had recently heard that an esteemed guest had come to Pyongyang Palace called Zhao Wang. Today, he had also seen Zhao Wang, but his descendants said that the person with the law enforcement elder was called Zhao Feng. When Zhao Feng was mentioned again, the withered elder couldn't help but recall a recent rumor. The ninth god Zhao Feng. You said that the person with the law enforcement elder today is called Zhao Feng. The withered elder suddenly stood up, his eyes flashing with sharp light. For someone so young to have a god-lord cultivation and extraordinary strength was truly shocking. Even in the sacred land, such people were rarely seen. I can't be wrong. Although his appearance has changed a little, he's definitely Zhao Feng. True God Dragon Emperor firmly said. Even if he was wrong about Zhao Feng, he couldn't be wrong about the thieving cat next to Zhao Feng. True God Dragon Emperor had heard that Pyongyang Palace had a very strange cat, but he had no luck seeing it, so he didn't think too much about it. From now on, do not mention this matter to anyone. The withered elder's expression darkened. Why? True God Dragon Emperor was rather confused. Could it be that Zhao Feng had such a high status that not even his ancestor dared to offend him? I need to personally go to the Golden Dragon Sacred Land and report this matter to the Sacred Land. A hint of greed flashed through the withered elder's eyes. If he told the Pyongyang Palace Master about this matter, the Pyongyang Palace probably wouldn't be able to deal with Zhao Feng. The Pyongyang Palace Master would definitely report this matter to the Sacred Land, and when the time came, the Pyongyang Palace Master would be rewarded by the Sacred Land. And if he personally reported this matter to the Golden Dragon Sacred Land and captured the ninth god he would benefit the most. He might even be able to directly enter the Golden Dragon Sacred Land. Golden Dragon Sacred Land. True God Dragon Emperor was alarmed. Sacred lands stood at the peak of the ancient desolate realm of gods, unreachable and unreachable. From the words of his ancestor, it seemed like Zhao Feng had some sort of relationship with the sacred land. Stay in your residence and cultivate in seclusion. Without my permission, you are not allowed to come out. The withered-haired old man warned again, and his figure disappeared directly. True God Dragon Emperor knew Zhao Feng, so Zhao Feng definitely knew Dragon Emperor. Thus, he told Dragon Emperor not to go out to avoid alerting the enemy. Based on what he knew, Zhao Feng would be staying in Pyongyang Palace for a while, so he needed to send out the news as quickly as possible. After spending a few days in Pyongyang Palace, Zhao Feng found the Pyongyang Palace Master. You want to go to the Yellow Dragon Secret Dimension to take a look? The Pyongyang Palace Master was extremely confused. The Yellow Dragon Secret Dimension was a secret trial dimension for disciples below the ancient god level of Pyongyang Palace. No outsider had ever entered it. Could the matter that Zhao Feng was investigating be related to the disciples of Pyongyang Palace? Although he was confused, the Pyongyang Palace Master still decided to open the Yellow Dragon Secret Dimension for Zhao Feng. After all, the impression that Zhao Feng had given him was pretty good, and he had helped Pyongyang Palace out twice. As for the Yellow Dragon Secret Dimension, it was just a secret trial dimension for true God disciples. It wasn't very precious to Pyongyang Palace. Later that day, the Pyongyang Palace Master summoned the other two god lords to the entrance of the Yellow Dragon Secret Dimension. Buzz. BZZ. A spatial ripple appeared in the gloomy and empty space. Soon, the Pyongyang Palace Master called out. Because this was an abnormal opening, there was a lot of resistance, but it wasn't a big problem. But at this moment, the God Lords present suddenly sensed something. God Lords are approaching Pyongyang Palace, and there are quite a few of them. Ao Hongguang grimaced as he looked to the east. Outside the Pure Yang Palace domain. The days of Pure Yang Palace have come to an end. The leading bull-horned elder heartily laughed. Strike! God Lord Cloud Moon impatiently called out. Broom! The winds and clouds howled, causing all of Pure Yang Palace to tremble. The bull-horned elder, God Lord Cloud Moon, and the other two God Lords all attacked. Chaotic divine power attacks descended upon the Pure Yang Palace domain. A few moments later, the domain shattered. 4 God Lords led several dozen ancient god experts charging into Pure Yang Palace. But the moment they entered Pure Yang Palace, they discovered that the God Lords of Pure Yang Palace were in the middle of opening the Yellow Dragon's secret dimension. Shadow Stream Peak. Ao Hongwang furiously clenched his teeth. At this moment, he was sure that the 2 God Lords who had ambushed him were from Shadow Stream Peak. Shadow Stream Peak, you're quite bold. You dare to charge into my Pure Yang Palace. The Pure Yang Palace master grimaced as he bellowed. On the other hand, the 3 God Lords of Shadow Stream Peak were dumbfounded when they saw that all of Shadow Stream Peak's forces had charged in. You actually know the secret of the heaven-mending race? The bull-horned elder was flabbergasted. He was just preparing to ridicule the incompetence of Pure Yang Palace, knowing nothing about the treasures of the heaven-mending race. One had to realize that the heaven-mending race was the 6th-ranked mythical race of the 10,000 ancient races. Its treasures were definitely extraordinary. If one obtained them, their entire faction would undergo a transformation. Of course, he had only recently learned of this news. Thus, he didn't care about anything else and secretly planned to capture Pure Yang Palace. Although the destruction of a 5-star faction would infuriate the Golden Dragon Sacred Land, with the treasures of the heaven-mending race, Shadow Stream Peak's overall strength would soar, making up for the losses Pure Yang Palace had suffered. When the time came, the Golden Dragon Sacred Land would have nothing to say. But to his surprise, the moment he arrived at Pure Yang Palace, they were in the middle of opening the Yellow Dragon secret dimension. The heaven-mending race? What's going on? The 3 God Lords of Pure Yang Palace were filled with question marks. It seems like the secret of the heaven-mending race is in the Yellow Dragon secret dimension. Zhao Feng's gaze darkened. The intrusion of the Shadow Stream Peak experts had disrupted the peaceful situation. But Zhao Feng was now completely sure that the secret of the heaven-mending race was in the Yellow Dragon secret dimension. He was determined to obtain it this time. Don't even think about it. The bull-horned elder immediately charged forward, preparing to stop all this. Godlord Cloud Moon saw the expression on the bull-horned elder's face and understood what was going on. The crux of the heaven-mending race's treasure was in the middle of opening the secret dimension. Fight! The Pure Yang Palace Master could only give up on opening the secret dimension and fight. But at this moment, Zhao Feng suddenly charged forward. Bzze! His robe floated in the air, covered in a mysterious silver radiance. The energy of a space-time law surged into the half-open passage to the secret dimension. Brother Zhao, what are you doing? The Pure Yang Palace Master was stunned. Bzze! The passage suddenly grew larger, and Zhao Feng, wearing the space-time robe, entered it. Although Pure Yang Palace was in danger, Shadow Stream Peak already knew about the secret of the heaven-mending race. Once this news got out, Pure Yang Palace would probably no longer open the secret dimension for Zhao Feng. When the time came, the situation would become even more complicated, and Pure Yang Palace might even become enemies. It was better to enter now, take the secret of the heaven-mending race, and then leave. After all, Pure Yang Palace had treated him well, and Zhao Feng had used Pure Yang Palace to find his goal. This was the simplest and most direct method, and it would also allow him to avoid becoming enemies with the God Lords of Pure Yang Palace. Chapter 1487. As they watched Zhao Feng enter the Yellow Dragon secret dimension, Pure Yang Palace had no idea what was going on. Logically speaking, when Shadow Stream Peak attacked, Zhao Feng should have first helped them repel the enemy. Once they repelled the enemy, Pure Yang Palace could have opened the Yellow Dragon secret dimension for Zhao Feng. Now that Zhao Feng had escaped, the three of them would find it very difficult to deal with the four god lords of Shadowstream Peak. But to Pure Yang Palace's surprise, the Shadowstream Peak god lords did not attack when they arrived. "You fools! You actually allowed an outsider into the Yellow Dragon secret dimension?" The bull-horned elder angrily cursed. Pure Yang Palace's own faction was hiding such a precious treasure, but they were completely unaware of it and still allowed an outsider to enter. Could there be some sort of secret here? The Pure Yang Palace Master sensed that something was strange and immediately asked. Zhao Feng had traveled a great distance to this place, saying that he needed to investigate some matters, but in the end, he ended up running into the Yellow Dragon secret dimension. Shadowstream Peak's actions and their words made him feel that something was wrong. "Fool, your Yellow Dragon secret dimension might contain the secret and treasure of the heaven-mending race of the 10,000 ancient races." The bull-horned elder did not hide anything and directly revealed the truth. Their true goal in attacking Pure Yang Palace was the treasure of the heaven-mending race. Destroying Pure Yang Palace was secondary. Now that someone had entered the Yellow Dragon secret dimension, they needed to hurry over. Thus, this was not the time to fight to the death with Pure Yang Palace. If they delayed and allowed Zhao Feng to obtain the treasure of the heaven-mending race, it would be too late. And if they opened the Yellow Dragon's secret dimension again, Pure Yang Palace's strength was indispensable. Thus, the bull-horned elder told Pure Yang Palace this secret without hesitation. What? The treasure of the heaven-mending race? The Pure Yang Palace Master felt like he had been struck by a bolt of lightning. The other two god lords also had dazed expressions. The heaven-mending race was a mythical race ranked 6th among the 10,000 ancient races. The primal chaos energy possessed by this race was extremely powerful and could be countered by almost no other power. Never in their wildest dreams would they have imagined that such a secret would be hidden in such a low-level mystic realm. If this were any other time, they definitely wouldn't believe Shadowstream Peak's words. But now Shadowstream Peak had attacked, but they had suddenly stopped. Coupled with Zhao Feng's reckless charge into the Yellow Dragon's secret realm, Pure Yang Palace had no choice but to believe all these clues. Actually, the elders in the palace had told them about the Yellow Dragon's secret realm. It was said that a true divinity genius had fallen inside. After some elders went in to investigate, they still could not find anything. However, as divine masters, they couldn't be bothered to care about such a small matter. Back then, they had thought that the ancient gods in the palace were useless and couldn't even handle such a small matter. Who would have thought that there would be such a big secret within? Hurry up and open the mystic realm again. If you let that kid steal the treasure, I think your Pure Sun sect will become the laughingstock of the entire Tongtai region. The bull-horned elder mocked coldly. The god lords of Pure Yang Palace glanced at the Shadowstream Peak group. Although Shadowstream Peak had informed them of this, Shadowstream Peak was still their sworn enemy, so they had to be on guard. In the end, the two factions reached a temporary agreement. For the time being, Shadowstream Peak would not attack Pure Yang Palace, but Pure Yang Palace would have to open the secret realm and allow Shadowstream Peak to enter. All of you, withdraw from a range of Pure Yang Palace. The bull-horned elder ordered, having all the ancient god experts of Shadowstream Peak withdraw. The god lords of the two factions worked together to open the mystic realm once more. Every time a mystic realm was opened, it would take some time before it could be opened again. Opening it twice in one day was extremely difficult. For this reason, all the god lords of the two factions participated in opening the mystic realm once more. At the same time, the Pure Yang Palace Master took the two god lords into his interspatial dimension. The bull-horned elder also took the Shadowstream Peak god lords and god Lord Cloudmoon into another dimension. This was because one would be randomly teleported through the passage to the mystic realm. This method could avoid this situation. Zhao Wang, I didn't think that you would sneak into Pure Yang Palace to steal its treasure. Since that's the case, this old man won't be polite with you. The Pure Yang Palace Master angrily snorted as he charged into the passage. Within the Yellow Dragon's secret realm, Zhao Feng appeared in a swamp. The moment he appeared, The auras of several rank 5 true god beasts emerged from the swamp. Roar! Several black-armored giant crocodiles suddenly appeared in the black swamp, their bodies exuding a black mist as they roared at Zhao Feng. Bzzz. The heavenly closure seal on Zhao Feng's body weakened a little, and a powerful energy began to seep out. The black-armored giant crocodiles immediately howled and leaped back into the swamp, their bodies trembling as they begged Zhao Feng to spare their lives. Zhao Feng couldn't be bothered to care about these things. The heaven-mending race's legacy should be hidden in this secret dimension, but the people of Pure Yang Palace have never noticed it. This means that this place is extremely well hidden, Zhao Feng speculated. But when it came to searching for treasure, he was still rather confident. Bzzz. He first unleashed his second heaven divine sense and began to search. This secret dimension was rather large, so Zhao Feng's divine sense could not completely cover it. Zhao Feng then activated his left eye and used its see-through ability to observe. Swish, swish, swish. His body flickered as he conducted a carpet search, using both his divine sense and the see-through ability of his left eye. But in the end, there was no result. It seems like I underestimated the place where the treasure is hidden. Zhao Feng stopped. But there was also a possibility that the information was wrong, and that there was nothing special about this secret dimension. However, this possibility was extremely small. Right, primal chaos energy. Zhao Feng suddenly recalled that his primal chaos energy had suddenly reacted a little earlier. The primal chaos energy he had condensed was extremely similar to the heaven-mending race's primal chaos energy. Perhaps he could use this energy to determine the location of the treasure. Bzzz. Zhao Feng extended a hand, and a dark and chaotic energy slowly appeared. The moment this energy appeared, the nearby energy of the world began to gather and be absorbed. Suddenly, this primal chaos energy flickered and began to move. At the same time, Zhao Feng felt a pulling force. Over here, Zhao Feng happily flew in the direction of the pulling force. It didn't take long for him to arrive in a lush forest. In a certain part of the forest, for some reason, the trees suddenly began to grow faster, growing at a visible rate. The nearby ground also grew taller and taller, quickly forming a small hill. Primal chaos energy can transform all things. Zhao Feng's eyes flashed. Primal chaos energy could devour other energies, and it could also transform them into other types of energy. Upon closer inspection, Zhao Feng discovered that there was an extremely small crack in the space deep underground. He didn't remember seeing this spatial crack when he passed by this place before. But after releasing primal chaos energy, perhaps it resonated with the primal chaos energy within, causing the crack to grow even larger. It's down there. Zhao Feng rejoiced and prepared to charge in. But suddenly, the world trembled, and a vast and profound aura descended. Thoosh! An illusory blade of moonlight pierced through the air with incredible speed and shot toward Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng's figure flashed as he dodged. Bang! The massive moonlight blade carved out an unfathomably deep gorge in the ground. Haha, kid, you're rather capable. You actually found the hiding place of the heaven-mending race's treasure. The bull-horned elder heartily laughed as he flew over. The other 3 god lords with him were also extremely excited. Peak Master, this kid has extraordinary strength. It was because he interfered with us that the assassination plan failed. One of the elders in the group whispered to him. The powerful pressure Zhao Feng had exerted on them was still fresh in their minds. Kid, seeing as you found the hiding place of the heaven-mending race's treasure, we can spare your life. Now scram. The bull-horned elder coldly snorted. The most important thing at the moment was to obtain the treasure as quickly as possible. He was confident that Zhao Feng would not choose to clash with such a powerful group. I'll give you one chance. Leave, or else don't blame me for being impolite. Zhao Feng's expression chilled. He should have been able to obtain all this without anyone noticing, but the appearance of Shadowstream Peak had thrown his plans into disarray. Similarly, Zhao Feng's goal was only the legacy treasure. If Shadowstream Peak was tactful enough to retreat, he would not pursue the matter. "Brat, you're seeking your own death." The bull-horned elder was instantly enraged. Amir Peak First Heaven actually wanted 4 god lords to retreat? This was a colossal joke. On the side, God Lord Cloud Moon had a cold and gloomy expression. "Uish." She waved her palm once more, unleashing a moonlight blade. At such a close distance, a normal First Heaven would find it impossible to dodge. Even if they didn't die, they would still be severely injured. But Zhao Feng didn't need to dodge. A layer of silver light emerged from the space-time robe and blocked the moonlight blade. Boom! Bang! Zhao Feng circulated his chaos origin divine power and punched, pulverizing the blade. "Junior, you're rather strong." God Lord Cloudmoon's eyes focused. In the exchange just now, she could already see that Zhao Feng possessed extraordinary strength. This was more normal, or else Zhao Feng would not have been so arrogant as to say such a thing. "Kill." The 3 god lords of Shadowstream Peak flew out at the same time, transforming into streaks of dark light that approached Zhao Feng from 3 different directions. The founder of Shadowstream Peak was a dark shadow race expert, so the majority of the techniques and combat skills of Shadowstream Peak were related to the dark shadow race. "Junior die." A silver-gray hook appeared in the bull-horned elder's hand, gleaming with cold light. Chaos Origin Divine Sword. Chaos Origin Divine Power surged out of Zhao Feng's hand, instantly forming a Chaos Origin Divine Sword that he slashed down. Boom! Bang! The 2 clashed, unleashing a heaven-shaking explosion. To everyone's surprise, the bull-horned elder was flung backward. How could this be? The bull-horned elder was stunned as he vomited blood. He had never imagined that in his first clash with Zhao Feng, he would be sent flying by overwhelming strength. The other 3 god lords were stunned by this sight. The 2 Shadowstream Peak god lords preparing to attack froze, not daring to continue forward. The bull-horned elder was a Shadowstream Peak master, a 2nd heaven god lord, but he had still been pushed back by Zhao Feng in a single move. If they recklessly charged forward, they would be seeking death. Now, they were rejoicing that they had not fought to the death with Zhao Feng while pursuing Ao Hongwang. Otherwise, the consequences would have been unimaginable. God Lord Cloudmoon's face was also unprecedentedly calm as she stared at Zhao Feng. He had sent a 2nd heaven expert flying in a single move, and the perpetrator was only a Peak First Heaven. Just who was he? Chapter 1488. The moment they clashed, Zhao Feng had forced back the Shadowstream Peak Master with a single move and intimidated the other god lords present. Zhao Feng's Chaos Origin Divine Power was fused with the space-time law and many other intents, so it could easily crush the divine power of a 2nd heaven god lord. God Lord Cloudmoon's face was unprecedentedly calm as she stared at Zhao Feng. With one move, a Layer 2 expert was sent flying, and the perpetrator was only at the peak of Layer 1. Who exactly was he? Previously, Zhao Feng's identity as the 9th god had been exposed in the Chixing Zone to the southeast. The Tongtai Zone was on the western edge of the ancient desolate realm of gods, and there was a great distance between them. Many people only knew of this, but they weren't very clear on the specifics. This child is so powerful. We definitely can't let him obtain the heaven-mending race's treasure. The Shadowstream Peak Master's expression tightened. God Lord Cloudmoon had the same idea. Although Zhao Feng had forced back the Shadowstream Peak Master in one move, the Shadowstream Peak Master hadn't used his full strength in their first clash, and could even be said to have been a little careless. Now that everyone had figured out Zhao Feng's strength, they naturally wouldn't hold back. If they worked together, they would definitely be able to defeat Zhao Feng. Gradually, the 3 god lords of Shadowstream Peak gathered around God Lord Cloudmoon. Among 2nd heaven god lords, God Lord Cloudmoon was even a little stronger than the Shadowstream Peak Master, but Shadowstream Peak had 3 god lords, so she was the leader. Still not willing to leave? Zhao Feng raised his eyebrows slightly. It seemed like the allure of the heaven-mending race's treasures was too great. Even when he revealed a bit of his strength, it wasn't enough to scare them off. Since that was the case, he would teach them a deeper lesson. Xiao. Zhao Feng's figure suddenly disappeared, leaving only a layer of spatial ripples in the void. Be careful. He's taking the initiative to attack. God Lord Cloud Moon immediately called out. The hearts of the other three tightened. They had 4 divine lords. Yet even in this sort of situation, Zhao Feng showed no fear and even took the initiative to attack. Illusion Cloud Slash. God Lord Cloud Moon stood in the center, swinging the cold moon's saber in her hand. Whoosh, the world seemed to have turned into a hazy night under the moonlight, but there was a biting, cold, murderous intent hidden in it. In the night sky, countless illusory crescent blades flew back and forth. Kill! Without saying a word, Zhao Feng waved the Chaos Divine Sword and destroyed everything in front of him. Xiao Xiao Xiao. The 3 Shadow Stream Peak God Lords used their secret arts, and countless black shadows rushed out of the darkness to entangle Zhao Feng. This is Shadow Stream Peak's secret technique, Shadow Kill Art. God Lord Cloudmoon's eyes flashed. Shadow Stream Peak's Shadow Kill Art could condense all shadows and dark objects into a strange attack that could kill invisibly. An ordinary divine power attack of the same level would usually pass through it without much effect. Whoosh, countless black shadows rose into the sky and surrounded Zhao Feng from all directions. Chaos Heaven Black Hole. Zhao Feng circulated his chaos divine power and formed a distorted black hole. Zhao Feng could easily deal with the attack of a God Lord. The combined firepower of 4 God Lords was rather fierce, and Shadow Stream Peak's offensive techniques were rather unique, so Zhao Feng decided to use a defensive secret art. When all the attacks landed, they were distorted and slowly dissipated. What a powerful defensive secret art. It can actually block the power of the Shadow Kill art. The Shadow Stream Peak Master was stunned. Up until now, he had never seen any kind of energy that could counter his Shadow Kill art to such a degree. He had no idea that Zhao Feng's Chaos Origin Divine Power was not countered by any kind of energy. In other words, it countered almost all kinds of energy. Within the Chaos Heaven Black Hole, Zhao Feng crushed all the attacks in his path with unstoppable momentum. Dodge! God Lord Cloud Moon immediately called out. If the 4 of them working together could not even break through Zhao Feng's defense, what was the point of fighting? But in terms of speed, not even the Shadow Stream Peak God Lords, who were skilled in concealment, could compare to Zhao Feng. Die! Zhao Feng slashed at a first Heaven God Lord. Buzz! BZZ! This middle-aged God Lord's body was pitch black and rapidly flowing. In this aspect, it was rather similar to the Shadow Race bloodline that Zhao Feng had seen before. This kind of bloodline secret art could greatly reduce the amount of damage one received. But no matter how powerful Zhao Feng's divine power attacks were, this first Heaven God Lord was unable to weaken them by much. Under the power of Chaos Origin Divine Power and the distorting and devouring elements, this first Heaven God Lord's life energy vanished, and his body shattered into pieces. Run! God Lord Cloud Moon and the Shadow Stream Peak Master trembled and immediately fled. If they were in Zhao Feng's place, they would have been heavily injured if not killed. As for Zhao Feng, he did not pursue. His primary goal was the item left behind by the heaven-mending race. How could this person be so powerful? What should we do? The remaining first Heaven God, Lord of Shadow Stream Peak, said in fear. His divine power is too powerful. It can even counter the secret arts of my Shadow Stream Peak to a certain extent. The Shadow Stream Peak Master was extremely indignant. His divine power is rather similar to the primal chaos energy of the heaven-mending race. Could this person be a successor of the heaven-mending race? God Lord Cloud Moon suddenly had an astonishing thought. It's possible. Otherwise, how could this person know that a treasure of the heaven-mending race was hidden here? And how could he so quickly find where it was hidden? The Shadow Stream Peak Master grimaced as he confidently said. As they speculated, Zhao Feng was mistaken for a descendant of the heaven-mending race. At this moment, swish, 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 3 air-piercing sounds came from afar. The 3 god lords of Pure Yang Palace flew over, and when they saw the Shadow Stream Peak group, they were taken aback. The Pure Yang Palace Master remembered that Shadow Stream Peak had come with 4 god lords, so why was one missing? Moreover, the Shadow Stream Peak group didn't seem very well. Upon questioning, the Shadow Stream Peak god lords explained what had just happened and their speculations. The 3 god lords of Pure Yang Palace were similarly stunned. Was Zhao Feng a member of the heaven-mending race? Old scoundrel, why don't we work together? Otherwise, we won't be a match for this kid. The Shadow Stream Peak Master looked at the Pure Yang Palace Master, his eyes blazing. He had revealed what had just happened precisely because he had this idea. Pure Yang Palace truly is cowardly. Their treasure is about to be taken away by someone else, but they're still so nervous. Another god lord added fuel to the fire. Okay, it's a deal. The Pure Yang Palace Master hesitated for a few moments before agreeing. He truly did not want to just hand over the treasure of the heaven-mending race to someone else. By the time the Shadow Stream Peak and Pure Yang Palace members arrived at the previous location, they discovered that the dimension had already been closed. Of course, the 6 god lords were naturally capable of breaking through the dimension. Wait, let that brat scout ahead. If he encounters any mishaps, it won't be too late for us to go after him while the treasure is still there. If he obtains the treasure, we'll ambush him here and catch him off guard. The Shadow Stream Peak Master had a sinister and cunning look on his face. The other god lords nodded. The Shadow Stream Peak Master's plan truly was excellent. Thus, the 6 god lords laid an ambush. The Shadow Stream Peak Master, skilled in ambushes, had personally laid out the plan. At this moment, Zhao Feng had passed through that small spatial fissure and arrived at a mysterious dimension that had been hidden for countless years. This dimension was dark and gloomy. Occasionally, slivers of primal chaos energy would sweep past him. This primal chaos energy was sometimes strong and sometimes weak. The weakest was at the God Lord level, while the strongest was at peak 3rd heaven. Even Zhao Feng was forced to dodge them. It was precisely because of this primal chaos energy that Zhao Feng could not smoothly spread out his divine sense and could only slowly explore. It seems that the chaotic energy in this space has accumulated too much and leaked out from the cracks. The ordinary real gods who participated in the trial in the Pure Yang Palace have no power to resist this energy. They can only die. Zhao Feng speculated. Moreover, this leakage of energy was only temporary, so not even the ancient god experts were able to find out anything. As he advanced, Zhao Feng discovered that the energy in his body was constantly being plundered. He couldn't help but circulate his chaos origin divine power. In an instant, the devouring power that came from other places weakened a lot. But at the same time, the gloomy dimension became even more chaotic. The primal chaos energy became more active and rampaged around. And in the distance, a strange and gloomy light appeared. Over there, Zhao Feng's eyes flashed. Zhao Feng sensed that the item he was looking for was in that direction. This dimension was filled with primal chaos energy and was extremely chaotic. His left eye's see-through ability was also disrupted and hindered, making it impossible to see clearly. Zhao Feng maintained his vigilance as he slowly approached. The closer he got, the stronger the devouring energy became. Even Zhao Feng found it very difficult to resist. Gradually, the image of a massive circular building appeared in front of him. This building was grand and majestic, mysterious and ancient. Given Zhao Feng's experience, he could naturally tell that this was no ordinary building. It was a god altar, and a 3-tiered one at that. Although this 3-tiered god altar was somewhat damaged, it was still carved with profound great Daos of the world and flowed with primal chaos energy that even Zhao Feng feared. A god altar? Zhao Feng was somewhat disappointed. Although a 3rd heaven god altar was also a priceless treasure, what he needed the most right now was a cultivation technique. At this moment, the god altar suddenly erupted with a gloomy glow. Junior, you actually look disappointed? Are you looking down on this old man? An elderly and displeased voice came from the god altar. This sight gave Zhao Feng quite a fright. He speculated that this god altar had been here for billions of years, perhaps even billions of years. He hadn't expected for something to still be alive within it. Primal chaos energy surged within the massive god altar, forming a savage and mighty beast somewhat similar to a Qilin. Roar! The gloomy Qilin roared, causing all the primal chaos energy in the dimension to tremble and come under its control. Junior, if you can't deal with it, you won't have the right to obtain everything here and won't be able to return alive. Another voice came from the god altar. Zhao Feng's expression darkened, but he said nothing. There were 3 god altars, which proved that the owner was at least a 3rd heaven god lord, or even a god king. Faced with such a situation in someone else's territory, Zhao Feng would do as the other party said for the time being. In addition, he might be able to extract a cultivation technique from the other party. Roar! The gloomy Qilin roared and leaped toward Zhao Feng. Immediately, an overwhelming amount of primal chaos energy came crashing down. This gloomy Qilin possessed vast amounts of pure primal chaos energy, and its cultivation was at peak 2nd heaven. An ordinary peak 1st heaven would be powerless before it, and would only be smacked to death. Chapter 1489. This dark Qilin possessed vast amounts of pure primal chaos energy, and it was a peak 2nd heaven. An ordinary peak 1st heaven would be powerless in front of it, and would only be slapped to death. From this, one could see that from the moment Zhao Feng entered this place, the unknown entity hidden in the god altar had been observing him. The other party had speculated that Zhao Feng would at most be able to fight against a peak 2nd heaven god lord, so it had condensed a 2nd heaven Yao god with primal chaos energy. Chaos Origin Tribulation Lightning Sword. Chaos Origin Divine Power surged in Zhao Feng's hand, condensing into a broadsword that crackled with tribulation lightning. Zhao Feng would not be careless against such an enemy. Oh, you can even fuse tribulation lightning energy? The god altar's voice was tinged with interest. In truth, even though Zhao Feng did not have the heaven-mending race bloodline, he was still able to cultivate divine power to a level close to primal chaos energy. This was already rather impressive. Roar! The dark Qilin roared, spitting out a dark and twisted ball of light that hurtled toward Zhao Feng with incredible speed. There was no technique to this attack, only condensed primal chaos energy. But due to the unique characteristics of primal chaos energy, this attack was extremely powerful and clumsy. Thus, Zhao Feng leaped into the air and began to rapidly move through the chaotic dimension. Although this dimension was filled with chaotic primal chaos energy, Zhao Feng was wearing the space-time robe and had 2 ancestral artifact fragments, so the effects were greatly reduced. Thus, Zhao Feng was able to maintain his high speed in this chaotic dimension. Boom! Bang! Crash! Dark and twisted balls of light brushed past Zhao Feng and exploded in the air. Thus, as he dodged the dark Qilin's attacks, Zhao Feng searched for a weakness. He rapidly approached the dark Qilin and slashed down with the Chaos Origin Tribulation Lightning Sword. Swoosh! The Chaos Origin Tribulation Lightning Sword left a wound on the dark Qilin's back. But this dark Qilin was not a living creature, but a technique used by someone else. Chaotic force surged around the wound and gradually healed it. The primal chaos force was extremely resistant to the power of the lightning tribulation. Zhao Feng didn't care at all. He quickly looked for other opportunities to attack the dark Kirin. Although the dusky Qilin possessed chaotic force, it was only a means of attack. It was not a true living creature, so it lacked intelligence. Coupled with Zhao Feng's advantage in speed, the dark Kirin could only passively take a beating. Gradually, most of the dark Qilin's chaotic force was consumed. The speed at which the dark Qilin recovered could not keep up with Zhao Feng's rate of destruction. Senior, if I win, shouldn't you give me some rewards? Zhao Feng said with a smile. At this moment, this dusky Qilin was no longer a threat. Laughter came from the altar, but it did not answer Zhao Feng's question. Just as Zhao Feng was about to continue asking questions, suddenly, a surge of chaotic energy emerged from the divine altar and rushed into the dark Kirin's body. The injuries on the dusky Kirin's body were all healed, and its body grew a bit bigger. It emitted a soul-shaking aura. This, Zhao Feng took in a deep breath. At this moment, the unknown entity in the divine altar had healed the dusky Qilin and even increased its strength. When facing this dusky Qilin, Zhao Feng felt like he was facing Bai Minghui. But at most, it was Bai Minghui who hadn't activated his heaven-mending race bloodline. This time, I'll completely exterminate you. Zhao Feng's eyes focused as he increased the power of his Chaos Origin Tribulation lightning sword. Swish! Activating the space-time robe, the energy of space-time law appeared, causing Zhao Feng to move even faster. A cry of surprise came from the three-tiered divine altar. In truth, he had only increased the dusky Qilin's strength to intimidate Zhao Feng, to prove that the legacy left behind here was extremely precious and not something that Zhao Feng could look down on. He believed that this was Zhao Feng's full strength, but he hadn't expected Zhao Feng to still be holding back. Thwish! In a flash of light, Zhao Feng approached the dusky Qilin, formed two Chaos Origin Tribulation lightning swords, and slashed them forward. Kaboom! At the same time, the dusky Qilin fiercely attacked Zhao Feng, spitting out one chaotic ball of light after another. At such a close distance, Zhao Feng had no way of dodging these twisting balls of light. Boom! Chaos Origin Divine Power surged, and Tribulation Lightning Energy surged. A pitch-black hole formed around Zhao Feng, crackling with white lightning. By relying on the Chaos Heaven Lightning Vortex's powerful defenses, Zhao Feng was able to block a portion of the dusky Qilin's attacks and continue his assault. At this moment, Zhao Feng had both offense and defense, and he was moving at an incredible speed. Boom! Bang! Crash! The dusky Qilin was once more on the back foot, and Zhao Feng was completely suppressing it. Just when Zhao Feng was having the time of his life, the Qilin condensed from primal chaos energy suddenly crumbled and vanished. At the same time, the three-tiered god altar not far away flashed with radiance. You're very strong. You've won this battle. In the center of the god altar, the phantom of a tall and imposing elder slowly floated out. A remnant will? Zhao Feng immediately determined the existence in front of him. A remnant will was just a thought. At most, it contained a portion of the master's memories and knowledge, but it did not possess much power. Just now, this remnant will had only used the primal chaos energy in the god altar to display that move. In truth, this was already the limit of this remnant will. If he continued to fight with Zhao Feng, his body would also be weakened and exhausted. And if he left the god altar, the remnant will could do even less. Don't look down on this remnant will. If I want, I can detonate the power in this god, king god altar, and take you down with me. The god king remnant will snorted coldly. He could not tolerate Zhao Feng's repeated underestimation. Zhao Feng's heart trembled. So the master of this god altar was a god king expert when he was alive. At the same time, he did not doubt that the god king remnant will have the ability to detonate the power in the god altar. However, the other party had waited here for so long, so he was naturally waiting for an inheritor. He would not destroy everything so easily. Although you are not a member of the heaven-mending race, it is quite rare for you to cultivate divine power that is so close to primal chaos energy. You meet the requirements of the inheritance. Seeing that Zhao Feng seemed to be stunned, the God King remnant will continued. And from the battle just now, I can see your talent. It turned out that the battle with the Dark Kirin just now was a test. This test was very simple for Zhao Feng, but it would probably be extremely difficult for others. Does that mean that I can inherit everything from you? Zhao Feng asked with a smile. He hoped that the God King remnant will had some impression of the cultivation method of its master. That's true. However, you have the aura of the destruction dragon race on you. The God King remnant will carefully observe Zhao Feng. Destruction dragon race? Zhao Feng's eyes froze as he suddenly recalled a few records he had read about this race. In the ancient era, the heaven-mending race was a pacifist and advocated peace. They traveled through the fan universe to mend the holes in space. But the destruction dragon race lived on destruction, absorbing energy from it and wreaking havoc. For this reason, the grudges between the two races ran very deep. Zhao Feng's heart tightened. He had been with the Black Destruction Dragon this entire time, and the Black Destruction Dragon was currently in the space-time robe dimension. Was he going to miss out on the inheritance because of this? Although he desired the cultivation method more, a God King level god altar was a priceless treasure that even a sacred land would find enormously tempting. At this moment, the little thieving cat opened its mouth and inhaled. Gradually, the destruction dragon race energy within the space-time robe began to fade, and the energy on Zhao Feng's body also began to weaken. I've fought against the experts of the destruction dragon tribe before. At this moment, Zhao Feng added, he truly had fought with God, Lord Tyrant Dragon, who possessed the destruction dragon race. Since you were able to find this place, you meet the requirements in every aspect. I can also fulfill Master's wish and give you the paramount scripture. The God King remnant will nodded, no longer hesitating. He had waited for a long time for Zhao Feng to arrive, and Zhao Feng's talent and strength were all extremely astonishing. Even with his memories and experience, he had a whole new level of respect for him. Paramount scripture? Zhao Feng was startled. This inheritance seemed to be different from what he had imagined. Supreme Divine Codex is a cultivation method that is a level higher than Top Divine rank. The highest Top Divine rank cultivation method can only be cultivated to the peak of second heavenly layer at most, but Supreme Divine Codex can be cultivated to the God King realm. The God King remnant will saw that Zhao Feng didn't understand, smiled, and began to explain. It's actually an art? Zhao Feng was inwardly shocked and overjoyed. He wasn't familiar with paramount scriptures. This was because the existence of paramount scriptures was extremely unique. Paramount scriptures cannot be directly passed on to others, nor can they be recorded using normal methods. An enormous price is often required to completely pass on the paramount scripture and have it fuse into the soul of the inheritor. The God King remnant will continue. In other words, if one wanted to obtain the supreme God canon, it might be accompanied by the death of a God King. Besides that, if one wanted to obtain the contents of a paramount scripture, one could only have the God King personally display the contents of the art for a God Lord to observe and comprehend. How much one could comprehend would depend entirely on one's luck. So that's how it is. Only now did Zhao Feng understand just how precious a third Heaven God Lord art was. It was no wonder that the Heaven's Legacy Race Protector had not agreed to Zhao Feng's request for this art. When Master was alive, he was a God King who had a chance of obtaining the title of God. The God King remnant will sighed. He had found the inheritor, and his mission was complete. God? Zhao Feng was stunned. It seemed like he had underestimated the former master of this god altar. There were 3 heavens of God Lords. Only a peak third heaven could be considered a God King. But the path of martial arts was endless and full of variables. There were always some people who could constantly get stronger and surpass themselves. Thus, they were bestowed the title of God and became some of the strongest experts of the ancient desolate realm of gods. There were 2 paths to becoming a god. The first was to possess a complete ancestral artifact. A complete ancestral artifact contained the origin energy of the fan universe. When fused with one's own energy, one's strength would reach a whole new level, allowing one to become a god. The second path was to perfectly fuse 2 perfect laws to produce even greater power. However, it was already extremely difficult to comprehend a law to perfection. Not to mention 2 perfect laws, one had to fuse them. As long as I can obtain the paramount scripture, I will not disappoint your master's wish and step onto the path of God. Zhao Feng's calm expression was brimming with confidence. Chapter 1490. As long as I can obtain the paramount scripture, I will not let down your master's wishes and step onto the path of a god. Zhao Feng's calm expression was brimming with confidence. Kid, you're a little too confident. The God King Remnant couldn't help but smile. Since ancient times, he had never heard of a first heaven god, Lord daring to say that they would definitely become a god. Not even the most talented second heaven god lords would dare to say such a thing. But the God King Remnant Will's tone did not completely deny Zhao Feng. He was just a God King Remnant Will, so his vision might not be accurate, and he could not see much, but he sensed that there was something extraordinary about this youth. Before I give you the paramount scripture, I will first help you seal the primal chaos energy in this god altar into your body. The God King Remnant will return to the main topic. The paramount scripture's legacy was actually him and the god altar. Once Zhao Feng obtained the paramount scripture, he would vanish. Thus, before that, he had to finish his other business. Although the three-tiered god altar was damaged, it still contained God King level primal chaos energy that was extremely precious. God King level primal chaos energy. Zhao Feng was startled. Although this God King had died a long time ago, the quantity and quality of this primal chaos energy was far from what it had been when he was alive. But it was still God King level energy. In the future, when Zhao Feng reached the third heaven, he would be able to directly absorb and comprehend this energy, greatly increasing his chances of becoming a God King. I'll have to trouble Senior, Zhao Feng gratefully said. The God King Remnant will personally help Zhao Feng seal the remaining primal chaos energy in the God altar next to the God altar in his body. While you cultivate the paramount scripture, you can also comprehend this primal chaos energy and increase your cultivation speed. The God King Remnant will warned. God King level primal chaos energy was of an extremely high level, and it also contained the God King's remnant comprehension. When one found it difficult to advance, they could directly absorb some and use it to break through bottlenecks. If you really can reach the God realm, if possible, avenge my master and kill someone. At this moment, the godly King Remnant will reveal a sense of resentment. I'll do my best. Zhao Feng couldn't guarantee anything. After all, how could someone who could become a God King die so easily? This God King's enemy was definitely not to be trifled with. Whoosh! The remnant will of the God King waved its hand, and a dim image appeared. A hunchbacked old man appeared on it. Heaven's legacy race protector. Zhao Feng was shocked. He hadn't expected for this God King's death to be related to the Heaven's legacy race. No wonder the little thieving cat didn't show its head after entering this place. If the God King's remnant saw the Heaven's legacy cat, it would be a wonder if it would pass the inheritance to Zhao Feng. Perhaps it would even activate the remaining primal chaos energy and take Zhao Feng down with it. At the same time, Zhao Feng also had a certain assessment of this protector's strength. In the Heaven's legacy race, their status was above that of the divine emissaries, so how could they be weak? Of course, what Zhao Feng saw back then was probably not the complete picture of the Heaven's legacy race. In short, this race could not be underestimated. Although Master wasn't killed by this person back then, he was the one who had the most to do with it. The God King's remnant said after a few moments of recollection. After all, it was only a remnant will. After so much time, it truly didn't remember much. After a long time, all the primal chaos energy in the God altar was sealed around Zhao Feng's God altar. Now, it was time for the main event. Junior, continue God King Chaos Spirit's paramount scripture. The God King's remnant focused its gaze on Zhao Feng. His mission had come to an end. God King Chaos Spirit was most likely his master. BZZZ. The God King's remnant suddenly merged with the three-tiered God altar. The entire God altar then transformed into twinkling stars that surged toward Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng stood motionless as he carefully sensed everything. Gradually, information and comprehension began to appear in his mind, accumulating so much that Zhao Feng didn't have time to flip through them. At this energy, the God King's remnant will exclaimed in surprise. As he was transmitting the paramount scripture to Zhao Feng, he could also sense the situation in Zhao Feng's soul. In his eyes, Zhao Feng's lightning soul body wasn't much at all. The crucial thing was the ninth God eye. As he was engraving the paramount scripture, the God King's remnant will realize that Zhao Feng's left eye was the only place that he could not peer into. The energy of a God eye, the ninth God eye. The owner of the remnant was a God King expert and had seen God eye deities before, so he was rather familiar with this energy. It seems like I truly misjudged you. Even without the paramount scripture, you would still have become a god. The God King's remnant gave a knowing smile. At this moment, the majority of Zhao Feng's mind was focused on the paramount scripture. In his mind, incomparably profound insights and information kept appearing. Zhao Feng realized that this information seemed to fuse with his soul and was deeply engraved. This also meant that if Zhao Feng tried to pass this information on to someone else, his soul would be severely injured. No wonder the paramount scripture can't be passed on through ordinary means. Zhao Feng now had a deep understanding of this. Gradually, the God altar in the chaotic dimension began to fade, and the information in Zhao Feng's mind became more and more complete. At a certain point, the three-tiered God altar and the God King remnant will completely vanish. The primal chaos scripture. At this moment, the paramount scripture in Zhao Feng's mind was clear and complete. The primal chaos scripture recorded the cultivation method from the first heaven of God Lord to the God King level. At the beginning of cultivation, one could quickly condense primal chaos energy. Of course, this could only be considered a rudimentary form of primal chaos energy. In the following cultivation process, the chaotic force would constantly evolve in terms of quality and foundation. Primal chaos energy could transform all things and also counter all things. It was one of the most powerful energies in the world. Based on what God King Chaos Spirit had said, if one cultivated this art to perfection and developed it to the limit, one could even form a sliver of primal chaos origin. At present, Zhao Feng still couldn't understand the difference between primal chaos energy and primal chaos origin. Perhaps this was the difference in cultivation levels. Once he cultivated to that level, he would naturally understand. Besides the cultivation method for primal chaos energy, the primal chaos scripture also contained many secret techniques of the heaven-mending race. Its value was unimaginable. Without another word, Zhao Feng seated himself cross-legged on the ground and began to cultivate. In order to establish a good foundation, Zhao Feng chose to start cultivating from the first heaven god Lord portion. The first step was for Zhao Feng to use the sliver of primal chaos energy he had formed to refine it. A few moments later, this sliver of primal chaos energy was successfully fused into Zhao Feng's divine power. At this moment, Zhao Feng didn't need to circulate the Chaos Heaven Void origin technique, but his divine power already possessed a sliver of primal chaos energy. Now, he needed to completely convert his divine power into primal chaos energy. Within the space-time robe, Zhao Feng had cultivated for 5 years, but only 10-some days had passed in the outside world. I've already converted 80% of divine power into primal chaos energy. Zhao Feng opened his eyes. Up until now, Zhao Feng had not gotten much stronger. After all, his chaos origin divine power was also extremely powerful. Now that he had converted his divine power into primal chaos divine power, chaos origin divine power's energy could no longer be superimposed. However, once Zhao Feng's divine power was completely converted into primal chaos energy, it would definitely be stronger than chaos origin divine power, and its future prospects would far surpass chaos origin divine power. At present, 80% of the primal chaos energy had been converted into primal chaos energy. The next conversion would be somewhat more difficult, so Zhao Feng ended his seclusion. This chaotic dimension was supported by the energy of the God King's God altar. Now that the God, altar, and primal chaos divine power had disappeared, this dimension had become extremely unstable and could not exist for much longer. In a certain forest in the Yellow Dragon secret dimension, several god lords were hiding. Shadowstream Peak had lost a god lord, so both sides now had 3 god lords. The 6 god lords were extremely well hidden. Quite a few true god-level beasts were still strolling around the area, unaware of their presence. Why hasn't that kid come out yet? Did he die in there? The Puryong Palace Master messaged the Shadowstream Peak Master. 10 some days had passed since Zhao Feng had entered that hidden dimension. Let's wait another 5 days. If that kid doesn't come out, we'll attack and see what's going on. The Shadowstream Peak Master's expression darkened. In truth, he hoped that Zhao Feng would come out with the treasure. If Zhao Feng died inside, wouldn't that prove that this place was extremely dangerous? Even if the 6 of them worked together, they would find it very difficult to obtain the treasure. BZZE. Right at this moment, a strong spatial fluctuation appeared deep underground. The 6 god lords immediately did their utmost to conceal themselves, but their hearts were thumping in their throats. Swish! A silver figure emerged in a stream of primal chaos energy. The god lords of 2 5-star factions are here to welcome me. This Zhao is deeply honored. Zhao Feng scanned the area and smiled as he sighed. He actually sensed it. The Puryong Palace Master was rather surprised. Forget about that. Act according to the plan. The Shadowstream Peak Master messaged the other god lords. Shadow, strangulation array. The black silhouettes on the ground twisted. Countless black thorns of light condensed into a special array that immediately began to coil around Zhao Feng. At the same time, the 3 god lords of Puryong Palace appeared in the sky. Kaboom! The bodies of the 3 god lords exploded with scorching red flames that dyed the world red. Puryong Palm. The 3 god lords used a secret technique of Puryong Palace, condensing 3 palms of fire that pressed down. Under this pressure, the entire forest was instantly vaporized, leaving behind only Zhao Feng. At the same time, the Shadowstream Peak Master and God Lord Cloud Moon appeared on the east and west sides. Illusory heaven smoke cloud slash. The cold moon saber in God Lord Cloud Moon's hand unleashed a hazy mist. Countless illusory moonlight slashes howled through the air, making it difficult to defend against them. On the other side, the Shadowstream Peak Master had also condensed a killing blow. The silver-gray claw in his hand unleashed 5 black thorns that tore at Zhao Feng. The ambush that the 6 god lord had meticulously planned was instantly unleashed. The entire world trembled as boundless killing intent assailed Zhao Feng from every direction. A second heaven god lord would have been doomed, and even a peak second heaven would have been heavily injured if not killed. I spared your dog lives several times, but you just don't know what's good for you, and come and die. But in the face of these attacks, Zhao Feng was rather indifferent, only a look of annoyance on his face. Chapter 1491. The entire world trembled as boundless killing intent assailed Zhao Feng from every direction. I spared your dog lives several times, but you just don't know what's good for you, and come and die. Zhao Feng's expression was rather indifferent, but a hint of annoyance appeared on his face. Primal Chaos Lightning Vortex. Zhao Feng circulated his primal chaos energy and tribulation lightning energy, creating a pitch-black vortex of lightning around him. The quality and devouring attribute of primal chaos energy was much better than chaos origin divine power, so its defensive abilities were somewhat stronger. Boom! Bang! An overwhelming barrage of attacks came crashing down. In the depths of the primal chaos lightning vortex, Zhao Feng could sense the powerful divine power attacks coming from all sides. However, he had absolute confidence in his defensive secret skill. Whoosh! As the dust settled, a pitch-black vortex of lightning appeared in the center of the chaotic explosion, its surface covered in many small cracks. Through these cracks, the god lords of Puryong Palace and Shadowstream Peak could see that Zhao Feng was completely unharmed. How could this be? Even this didn't injure him? The Shadow Stream Peak Master was flabbergasted. This was a supreme attack from 6 God Lords, including 3 Second Heaven God Lords, but they still failed to injure Zhao Feng. This is that kid's defensive skill. He probably can't use it repeatedly. God Lord Cloud Moon conjectured. All of this seemed rather illogical, so she could only interpret it this way. The Chaos Heaven Black Hole was Zhao Feng's life-saving skill that couldn't be used repeatedly, and there might be side effects. Zhao Wang, I didn't think that you infiltrated Pure Yang Palace to steal something from my Pure Yang Palace. The Pure Yang Palace Master righteously bellowed. This is the legacy left behind by the Heaven Mending race. What does it have to do with your Pure Yang sect? How could it be stolen? Zhao Feng sneered. The only exception was if the God King expert who left behind the legacy had some connection to Pure Yang Palace. But the 6th-ranked Heaven Mending race, a God King expert, clearly had nothing to do with Pure Yang Palace. The Shadow Stream Peak Master sneered inwardly. This Pure Yang Palace Master was actually treating the Heaven Mending race's treasure as Pure Yang Palaces. But on the surface, the Shadow Stream Peak Master still sent a voice transmission to the Pure Yang Palace Master. If we let this kid take away the treasure just like that, what face would the Pure Yang Palace have in the Tongtai region in the future? The Shadow Stream Peak Master desired the treasures of the Heaven Mending race even more. He had meticulously planned for the treasures and even paid an enormous price to invite God Lord Cloud Moon. Shadow Stream Peak had even lost a God Lord. If it did not gain anything from this, it would definitely fall into decline. Zhao Wang, you came out alive. I think you have obtained the treasures inside. If you are willing to hand over a part of it, my Pure Yang Palace will no longer pursue it. The Pure Yang Palace Master naturally would not be provoked by the Shadow Stream Peak Master, so he took a step back and made this request. As long as the Pure Yang Palace got some of the treasures, there would be no problem of face. Moreover, the strength shown by Zhao Feng was powerful and his background was not ordinary. The Pure Yang Palace did not want to offend Zhao Feng. What? A bunch of good-for-nothings. The Shadow Stream Peak Master grimaced. The Pure Yang Palace Master was actually asking for peace? God Lord Cloudmoon's face also darkened. If Zhao Feng negotiated peace with Pure Yang Palace, they would be in danger. I obtained this through my own abilities. There's no need to give it to you. Besides, I can't hand it over. Zhao Feng firmly refused. If Pure Yang Palace asked for other resources and treasures, he might be able to satisfy them. But Zhao Feng could not hand over the legacy of the Heaven Mending race. The Primal Chaos Scripture was a supreme scripture and could not be passed down to others. Primal Chaos energy was far too powerful. If he handed it over and Pure Yang Palace went back on their word and used this energy to deal with Zhao Feng, he would suffer a massive loss. Moreover, Zhao Feng also needed this Primal Chaos energy. It could be one of his trump cards and could also be used to speed up his cultivation. Brother Zhao, why must you do this? Ao Hongguang sorrowfully sighed. He also did not want to become enemies with Zhao Feng. As long as Zhao Feng handed over a portion of the legacy, the two sides could become friends, and the opposing faction of Pure Yang Palace, Shadow Stream Peak, would suffer a heavy blow. Haha, Pure Yang Palace is truly useless. You don't dare to take back what belongs to you, so you beg for peace, and then you were refused. At this moment, the first Heaven God Lord of Shadow Stream Peak added fuel to the fire. Kill! The Pure Yang Palace Master felt like he had lost all face, and his eyes turned cold as he bellowed. The Shadow Stream Peak Master wickedly laughed as he charged forward with the other God Lords. For a moment, 6 God Lords charged forward, 3 Second Heaven God Lords in the front, and 3 First Heaven God Lords in the back. Illusion Heaven Smoke Cloud Slash. God Lord Cloud Moon swung her cold moon saber again and again, unleashing one illusory moon blade after another. The Shadow Stream Peak Master's silver-hooked claws tore out black thorns. As for the Pure Yang Palace Master, he transformed into a flaming war god, unleashing massive fireballs from his palms. Behind them, the three first heaven god lords did not rest and continued to unleash powerful attacks. The allure of the heaven-mending race's treasures caused the six god lords to throw caution to the wind and launch fierce attacks. Oomph. Zhao Feng coldly snorted as he waved the space-time robe. Swish! Boundless black and red draconic flames charged forward, transforming into a savage dragon several thousand feet long. Destruction Dragon Breath. The black destruction dragon opened its mouth and spat out pitch-black destruction flames. On its head, Zhao Feng condensed a primal chaos divine sword and slashed out again and again. The two of them worked together to pulverize the majority of the attacks. The remaining few attacks struck the black destruction dragon's massive body, but they did little to harm it. This is the destruction dragon race. The pure Yang Palace Master stared at the black destruction dragon, his heart trembling. The others were also stunned. They had speculated that Zhao Feng might be a descendant of the heaven-mending race, but now, Zhao Feng had a helper of the destruction dragon race at his side. Kill! Zhao Feng bellowed, standing on the black destruction dragon's head, and then he charged forward. Under the influence of the destruction dragon race bloodline, the bloodline energy of the six god lords was greatly suppressed. Destruction Dragon Blast. The black destruction dragon's body seethed with black and red draconic flames, transforming into two massive dragons of flame that revolved around it and wreaked havoc. On its head, Zhao Feng gripped the primal chaos divine sword and unleashed one primal chaos sword after another. For a moment, the formation of the six god lords was thrown into disarray. A good chance. Zhao Feng shot forward, charging at the first heaven god lord of Shadowstream Peak. The black-robed elder saw Zhao Feng charging at him, and his body trembled as he retreated. Zhao Feng's strength had long ago been engraved into his mind. In a one-on-one fight, he was doomed. Don't even think about it. The Shadowstream Peak Master, God Lord Illusory Cloud, and the pure Yang Palace Master immediately rushed over. Even the six of them were incapable of suppressing Zhao Feng. If they lost one person, they would find it even more difficult to deal with Zhao Feng. None of you can stop me. Zhao Feng's eyes seethed with killing intent. BZZ. The space-time robe unleashed ripples of space-time that spread through the world. In a flash, everything around Zhao Feng was hindered and slowed down. Those who wanted to stop Zhao Feng slowed down, and the black-robed elder who wanted to escape also slowed down. Only Zhao Feng sped up, transforming into a blur as he arrived at the black-robed elder's side. Bang! The primal chaos divine sword pierced through the elder's chest, its destructive power shattering his divine body. A one-hit kill. Brat, you actually killed him? The Shadowstream Peak Master was frantic. Shadowstream Peak had a total of 3 god lords, and 2 of them had been killed by Zhao Feng. He was the only one left. Whoosh! The 3 second heaven god lords immediately surrounded Zhao Feng, preparing to use this chance to heavily wound Zhao Feng. Seeking death. Without another word, Zhao Feng charged forward, a pitch-black lightning vortex once more forming around him. Boom! Bang! Crash! All the attacks that got close were affected by the devouring and tribulation lightning elements before they could even land. The remaining divine power attacks were completely useless against the Chaos Heaven lightning vortex. Zhao Feng gripped the primal chaos divine sword and attacked God Lord Cloudmoon. He can use such a powerful defensive secret skill consecutively? God Lord Cloudmoon was flabbergasted. Thwish! A hazy and illusory cloud appeared around God Lord Cloudmoon's body. She moved around in an ethereal and elusive manner, but she had no idea that she had nowhere to hide from Zhao Feng's left eye. Bang! Zhao Feng slashed with his sword, accurately striking God Lord Cloudmoon's body. A large part of God Lord Cloudmoon's clothes was torn, revealing a massive bloody wound on her fair and alluring skin. Moreover, this wound was extremely difficult to heal, and a significant amount of energy was still rapidly fading from her divine body. One sword had heavily injured God, Lord Cloudmoon. Run! At this moment, God Lord Cloudmoon finally realized that Zhao Feng was simply too powerful. Zhao Feng had not used his full strength, or else she and the Shadow Stream Peak team would have already been killed by Zhao Feng. But it was clearly too late for her to understand this point. Another primal chaos sword energy descended. God Lord Cloudmoon had nowhere to hide, so she used a defensive secret skill to form an ethereal shield behind her. Boom! Bang! But this defensive secret skill she had hastily used was extremely weak against the attack of primal chaos energy. Crack! The shield shattered. Save me! Blood spurted out from God Lord Cloudmoon's back as she plummeted to the ground. Seeing that God Lord Cloudmoon was about to die, to Zhao Feng, the Pure Yang Palace Master and Shadow Stream Peak Master frantically tried to stop her. But Zhao Feng had the advantage in speed and a powerful defensive secret skill. Their attacks were nothing more than scratching an itch for Zhao Feng. Ooish! Zhao Feng descended and threw the primal chaos divine sword, which pierced through God Lord Cloudmoon's divine body. This primal chaos divine sword absorbed the energy of the world and exploded, leaving a massive crater in the ground. God Lord Cloudmoon had died without a complete corpse. At this moment, a scream came from the other side. The Black Destruction Dragon had used an unstoppable momentum to tear apart a God Lord of Pure Yang Palace. The Destruction Lightning Dragon had already reached the God Lord level, and with its Destruction Dragon race bloodline, it could fight against a second Heaven God Lord. But two First Heaven God Lords were powerless against it. How could this be? As he watched one God Lord after another fall, the Pure Yang Palace Master stood in a daze, a hint of despair on his face. 6 God Lords had surrounded Zhao Feng, but not only had they been unable to do anything, Zhao Feng had even managed to kill 3 of them. Now, only the Shadow Stream Peak Master, him, and Ao Hongguang were left. What could they do to Zhao Feng? The Shadow Stream Peak Master was also stunned by this sight, fear spreading in his heart and his hands trembling. Chapter 1492. In the air, the only ones left were the Pure Yang Palace Master, Ao Hongguang, and the Shadow Stream Peak Master. The Shadow Stream Peak Master and Pure Yang Palace Master had lost all will to fight, their hearts crumbling into despair. 6 people had surrounded them, but half of them had died. What could the remaining 3 possibly do to Zhao Feng? If time could be reversed, the Pure Yang Palace Master would never have made an enemy out of Zhao Feng. In the distance, Ao Hongguang was on the verge of death under the fury of the Black Destruction Dragon. Let's stop, Zhao Feng suddenly said. The Black Destruction Dragon immediately stopped, and Ao Hongguang, heavily injured, immediately retreated. What? The Shadow Stream Peak Master was shocked. In the current situation, their deaths were assured, but Zhao Feng had stopped? Ao Hongguang and the Pure Yang Palace Master were also stunned. Today's matter ends here. If there's a next time, I will completely eradicate Pure Yang Palace and Shadow Stream Peak. Zhao Feng calmly said, emphasizing each word. He was not a bloodthirsty person, so he would let these 3 go for now. If he had used his full strength, he would have been able to kill all of them from the very start. Zhao Feng had already achieved his goal, so he needed to leave as quickly as possible. Although he had let these people go, the top-class fighting power of their factions had been greatly damaged, and the days ahead would not be easy. The leaders of the 2 5-star factions immediately rejoiced, but at the same time, their hearts trembled. They warned themselves not to provoke this person again, or else their entire 5-star faction would be destroyed. Swish! With a wave of the space-time robe, the Black Destruction Dragon was taken into its dimension, and then Zhao Feng flew into the air. Relying on a space law, Zhao Feng sensed the exit and flew toward it. Swish! A moment later, Zhao Feng appeared at the entrance to Pure Yang Palace's Yellow Dragon secret dimension. But at this moment, an incredibly oppressive ripple of divine power descended on Zhao Feng's body, making him feel a sense of danger. In the sky, a dragon of golden light circled around. Its power shook the heavens, turning the entire world into a golden world. Not good. An ambush. Zhao Feng's heart trembled as he activated the primal chaos lightning vortex. However, the other party had obviously been waiting for a long time and was well prepared. Boom! The golden dragon let out a roar and charged downward. Its speed was so fast that no one could react in time. The primal chaos lightning vortex, which had been hastily activated, twisted and shattered under the might of the golden dragon. Boom! The chaotic heaven lightning vortex shattered, and Zhao Feng was sent flying. The blood in his body was boiling, and his face was pale. At this moment, he looked at the 5 figures floating in the distance. Of the 5, 2 were at the first heaven and 2 were at the second heaven. The golden-skinned man with dragon tattoos in the middle was a third heaven god lord. Zhao Feng didn't recognize any of these 5 people, but it was obvious that they knew him. Among the 5 of them, one of them, who was at the first heaven, was slightly surprised. Not only was Zhao Feng not heavily injured, but he also didn't seem to have suffered any serious injuries. Right at this moment, swish, 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 at the entrance of a yellow dragon secret realm, the remaining 3 members of Pure Yang Palace and Shadowstream Peak appeared, their faces filled with shock. When they saw the 5 divine masters in the sky, their expressions changed. God Lord Golden Emperor. The God Lords of the 2 5-star factions respectfully called out. God Lord Golden Emperor was a third heaven god, Lord of the Golden Dragon, Sacred Land. As a faction beneath a sacred land, they naturally had to bow to the third heaven god, Lord Golden Emperor. But they were rather surprised. Did God, Lord Golden Emperor, also know about the heaven-mending race legacy hidden here? Otherwise, why would a third heaven god lord come here for no reason? Zhao Feng, surrender. God Lord Golden Emperor ignored the Pure Yang Palace Masters group, his eyes fixed on Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng, the Pure Yang Palace Master, and Ao Hongwang were stunned. They had guessed that Zhao Feng might have been hiding his real name, but the name Zhao Feng was extremely familiar. The 9th god Eye. A moment later, they stared in shock at Zhao Feng. It turned out that the god lords of the Golden Dragon Sacred Land had not come for the heaven-mending race legacy, but for the 9th god Eye. Could he be the owner of the 9th god Eye? The Pure Yang Palace Master blurted out in shock. The 8 great god Eyes were known as gods in the ancient desolate realm of gods. The appearance of the 9th god Eye meant that another god was about to appear. In their minds, a god was an unreachable existence. They had never imagined that the youth they had just fought was the owner of the 9th god Eye, someone who had a chance of becoming a god. But in the battle just now, Zhao Feng had not even used the power of his eye. Perhaps they didn't even have the right to force Zhao Feng to use his eye. Far away in Pure Yang Palace, true God Dragon Emperor's eyes were wide open, his body trembling. Just what sort of terrifying expert did grandfather invite to deal with Zhao Feng? True God Dragon Emperor was only a rank 4 true God. If he didn't get a good look, he would only be able to sense the power of the world in the distance. If he got any closer, he would probably be killed by the shockwaves. In the sky, Zhao Feng wiped the blood from the corner of his lips. Surrender without a fight? That'll depend on whether you have the ability. Zhao Feng's expression was cold and sinister. He could naturally tell that his opponent was after the 9th god Eye. He had only been injured by God, Lord Golden Emperor, because he had been caught off guard. In a direct confrontation, Zhao Feng wasn't guaranteed to lose. Back in the Heaven's Legacy Race's Divine Kingdom, he had been able to exchange a few blows with Bai Minghui. After leaving the Divine Kingdom, his art had reached perfection. He had found the paramount scripture, and he had even fused 2 ancestral artifact fragments into the space-time robe. His overall strength had received a massive boost. At this moment, Zhao Feng was confident that he could fight against a third heaven god lord. If you obediently submit and hand over the 9th god Eye, you might be able to keep your life. God Lord Golden Emperor coldly threatened. Haha, submit? You ambushed and injured me, so I won't let today's matter rest. Zhao Feng heartily laughed as he flew into the air. Bzzz. At this moment, the heavenly closure seal on his body was completely removed. His hair gradually regained its silver luster and began to shine with other colors that wantonly danced in the air. His left eye flashed with a dazzling and dreamy silver, making anyone who looked at it feel deeply drawn in. Bzzz. Kaboom! Boundless elemental energy was being stirred up by Zhao Feng and madly absorbed. What? He's actually challenging a third heaven god lord. Even if he has the ninth god eye, he's only a peak first heaven. He can't possibly be a match for God, Lord Golden Emperor. The Pure Yang Palace Master and Ao Hongguang sighed in amazement. In the ancient, desolate realm of gods, it was extremely rare for a second heaven to challenge a third heaven, and a first heaven challenging a peak third heaven was even more unheard of. Ha! Even if you have a ninth god eye, you're still too arrogant. God Lord Golden Emperor laughed instead of getting angry. Thwish! In a blur, a dazzling golden light shot toward Zhao Feng. All of Pure Yang Palace fiercely trembled. The ancient gods in the distance were sent flying, and quite a few true god experts exploded and died. Dark primal chaos energy was unleashed. Zhao Feng wielded a primal chaos tribulation lightning sword, surrounded by primal chaos lightning vortex. He held nothing back against a third heaven god lord. Boom! Bang! The two collided, causing the world to tremble and a vast storm to sweep through the surroundings. The two god lords of Pure Yang Palace desperately used their defensive techniques to protect the foundation of Pure Yang Palace. Bang! After this clash, Zhao Feng was forced back several steps. His primal chaos lightning vortex was slightly damaged, but it quickly recovered. God Lord Golden Emperor was flabbergasted. A third heaven god lord is only SOSO. Zhao Feng coldly smiled at God Lord Golden Emperor. His estimate of his own strength had not been wrong. He could now fight against a third heaven god lord. On the other side, the four god lords of the Golden Dragon's sacred land were flabbergasted. God Lord Golden Emperor and Zhao Feng were evenly matched in their first clash, with Zhao Feng not having the slightest advantage. The Pure Yang Palace Master and the Shadow Stream Peak Master were even more dumbstruck. Junior, you're too arrogant. You only managed to block 70% of my power. I admit that I underestimated you, but you won't have a chance now. God Lord Golden Emperor angrily snorted. In truth, he had used almost 100% of his power, but his attack had been blocked by Zhao Feng, which was why he had said this. But he would not give Zhao Feng a chance now. Swoosh swoosh. In a flash of golden light, two second heaven god lords appeared. One of them was a tall and slender woman, a peak second heaven. The golden tattoos on her body flashed with light, making her seem extremely noble. With three god lords attacking this time, would Zhao Feng even be able to fight back? Kill! God Lord Golden Emperor angrily roared. Although Zhao Feng had blocked one of his attacks, he was still confident that he could defeat Zhao Feng. But right now, they needed to capture Zhao Feng and obtain the ninth god eye. Thus, he had the others attack to prevent Zhao Feng from escaping. Swish! The three god lords of the Golden Dragon, sacred land, transformed into three beams of golden light that surrounded Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng alone would be too much of a stretch against such a force. Come out! With a wave of the space-time robe, a black-scaled man, a silver-eyed handsome youth, and a cat appeared on either side of Zhao Feng. The members of the Golden Dragon sacred land were all surprised. Although Zhao Feng's helpers were all extraordinary, their cultivations were too low. None of them had reached the second heaven, so they were nothing to worry about. Kill! Zhao Feng bellowed as he charged at God, Lord Golden Emperor. Zhao Kong was responsible for holding down the second heaven god lord. This was rather difficult for him, but as an Eye of Space-Time descendant, he had the advantage in speed and could at least ensure that he wouldn't die. The Black Destruction Dragon and the Little Thieving Cat were responsible for holding down the peak second heaven golden tattooed woman. Broom! Various ripples of law energy caused the world to shudder and tremble. All the disciples of Pure Yang Palace had long ago retreated far away, and those who had not were already dead. Zhao Feng, your helpers are just sending themselves to their deaths. God Lord Golden Emperor jeered. On the other side, the Golden Dragon's sacred land truly did have the upper hand. Bzzz, a golden thorn of light condensed in his hand, faintly glimmering with dragon tattoos. Zhao Feng slashed with his primal chaos tribulation lightning sword. Every time they clashed, the space-time law and the light law would sweep through the world. After tensome exchanges, Zhao Feng's primal chaos tribulation lightning sword was getting stronger and stronger, no weaker than God, Lord Golden Emperor's attacks. This kid, he's this strong. God Lord Golden Emperor was stunned. Zhao Feng might have been able to block one of his attacks because he had used his full strength. But if Zhao Feng continued to fight without losing, didn't this mean that Zhao Feng's true strength was around the same level as his? Boom! God Lord Golden Emperor was enraged, and the bloodline energy in his body exploded. A dazzling golden light with golden dragon tattoos on it began to revolve around him. After activating his bloodline, God Lord Golden Emperor's fighting power instantly increased. Boom! Bang! At the moment of impact, Zhao Feng was forced back several steps, and the primal chaos tribulation lightning sword in his hand fiercely trembled, cracks appearing on its surface. Although God Lord Golden Emperor's bloodline was only around 20, it was still extremely powerful. Bzzz. Now that he had been recognized, Zhao Feng no longer hid his identity, and his dream god, I began to shine with a dreamy luster. Dreamification. As he circulated his origin energy, his left eye began to exude a dreamy mist that seeped into the world around him. For a moment, the world in front of Zhao Feng was shrouded in a dreamy haze. Chapter 1493. After activating the dream god, and using dreamification, the area around him was covered in dreamy and hazy colors. Zhao Kong, the little thieving cat, and the black destruction dragon were not faring very well. Thus, Zhao Feng's side had to gain the upper hand, or else it would be very difficult to win this battle. After God, Lord Golden Emperor activated his bloodline, Zhao Feng decided to use the power of the Dream God Eye. This what's going on. God Lord Golden Emperor was shocked. At this moment, he sensed that his mind, energy had been affected and was no longer at its peak. The special ability of the ninth god, Eye. God Lord Golden Emperor focused his eyes on Zhao Feng's left eye. An eye that could be called a god, I was definitely extraordinary. At this moment, Zhao Feng focused his eyes on God, Lord Golden Emperor. Extinguish. He circulated his thought power, an intense thought emerging in his mind. In a flash, God Lord Golden Emperor's bloodline phenomenon began to slowly vanish. He suddenly felt an intense sense of danger, and the condition of his body inexplicably plummeted. It was like his body would burst like a bubble in the next moment. If this continues, I'm finished. God Lord Golden Emperor panicked. If he didn't do something, he might even be killed by Zhao Feng. Although he couldn't understand the abilities of Zhao Feng's ninth god Eye, God Lord Golden Emperor unleashed all sorts of energy and techniques to resist. In the end, he realized that his bloodline energy and law energy could resist the abilities of Zhao Feng's ninth god Eye. Bzzz. By fully activating his bloodline and unleashing his law energy, God Lord Golden Emperor resisted Zhao Feng's mysterious ability and gradually recovered. However, he had to continue to resist this power, causing his bloodline and mind to consume even more energy. Kill. Zhao Feng's eyes chilled as he shot toward God, Lord Golden Emperor. It was within Zhao Feng's expectations that his foe could resist dreamification. After all, his opponent was a third heaven god lord with a high-quality bloodline and a late-stage law. But Zhao Feng's dreamification was still able to restrict and weaken God, Lord Golden Emperor. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Zhao Feng used his thunderbolt to attack. Wielding the primal chaos tribulation lightning sword, he rapidly approached God, Lord Golden Emperor, and slashed. Junior, I said before that even if you have the ninth god eye, you can't do anything to me. God Lord Golden Emperor's face chilled as he swung his golden thorn. Space-time barrier. Zhao Feng activated the space-time robe, causing a layer of silver light to emerge. In a flash, the restraining energy of a space-time law engulfed God, Lord Golden Emperor, once more restricting his movements and thoughts. Space-time law. God Lord Golden Emperor was taken aback. Zhao Feng was merely at the first layer of heaven, yet he possessed two such powerful laws. Under the dual restrictions of dreamification and the space-time law, God Lord Golden Emperor was not even at 70% of his peak state. Boom! Cackrack! Zhao Feng's primal chaos tribulation lightning sword dodged God Lord Golden Emperor's attack and struck him. The primal chaos tribulation lightning energy left a bloody mark on God Lord Golden Emperor's body. But this was not the end. Zhao Feng condensed a primal chaos tribulation lightning sword in his other hand and continued to attack. Ah! God Lord Golden Emperor screamed as he hastily used a secret art. Golden dragon tattoos began to appear around his body, forming a circular barrier that was able to somewhat block Zhao Feng's attacks. On the other side, the two second heaven god lords of the Golden Dragon Sacred Land were stunned. Lord Golden Emperor, His Excellency, was injured by Zhao Feng. The two god lords were flabbergasted. This had far exceeded their expectations. The two god lords of the Golden Dragon Sacred Land were also flabbergasted. As expected of the ninth god eye, to think that it would be so powerful. The peak second heaven woman with golden tattoos couldn't help but sigh in amazement. Down below, the Shadowstream Peak Master and the Pure Young Palace Master were similarly stunned. They hadn't expected for Zhao Feng to be able to injure even a third heaven god lord. But all of this was under the condition that dreamification was maintained. Dreamification consumed an enormous amount of energy, and the higher the level of the target, the greater the consumption. At this moment, Zhao Feng was forced to stop using this eye bloodline technique. The colors of the world gradually returned to normal, and God Lord Golden Emperor was no longer affected by dreamification. However, God Lord Golden Emperor had already been struck multiple times by Zhao Feng's primal chaos tribulation lightning sword and had sustained some injuries. Now that Zhao Feng had stopped dreamification, God Lord Golden Emperor was still not at his peak state. Zhao Feng, I'll make you wish you were dead. God Lord Golden Dragon's expression was cold and harsh as he waved his right hand, producing a golden dagger. This golden dagger was only a supreme quality divine artifact, but it was suffused with a sliver of a law. Kaboom! The golden dagger suddenly began to shine with a dazzling golden light that illuminated the heavens. Golden light dragon thrust. God Lord Golden Emperor bellowed. The golden dagger transformed into a golden thorn of light. 9 golden dragons coiled around its surface. It exuded a monstrous aura and dreadful power. Thwish! The golden dragon-patterned thorn suddenly shot forward, its power causing the entire world to tremble. God Lord Golden Emperor is completely enraged. Zhao Feng muttered. The power God Lord Golden Emperor was displaying at this moment was probably his ultimate attack. Not even Zhao Feng's primal chaos lightning vortex would be able to block it. God Eye. Illusory oblivion. Zhao Feng's left eye once more began to revolve, sending out a dreamy mist. Everything else in his vision was dim and devoid of light. Only the golden dragon-patterned thorn was dyed in dreamy and hazy colors. As he circulated his thought power, an intense thought appeared in his mind. A moment later, part of the head of the golden dragon-patterned thorn suddenly vanished. What? God Lord Golden Emperor paled in fright at this sight. How could part of his attack suddenly vanish? Extinguish for me. The origin energy in Zhao Feng's left eye fiercely pulsed as he activated his thought power. Whoosh! The illusory oblivion energy suddenly grew stronger, and the golden dragon-patterned thorn vanished once more. In the end, it was completely gone. How could this be? God Lord Golden Emperor's mind was in turmoil. His attack had vanished for no reason at all. This was far too absurd. However, this was not the end of the incredible event. God Eye Duplication, Golden Light Dragon Thrust. Zhao Feng's left eye suddenly dimmed. At the same time, a massive silver eye of heaven appeared behind God, Lord Golden Emperor, flashing with dazzling light. A layer of dreamy mist spread out from the huge silver eyes. Boom! A golden thorn suddenly shot out of the dreamy mist, its power shaking the world as it shot toward God, Lord Golden Emperor. This impossible. God Lord Golden Emperor's eyes went slack. Zhao Feng had actually used his supreme attack. But in the face of danger, he immediately cast aside his doubts. Boom! Divine power surged out as God Lord Golden Emperor used all his defensive techniques, once more forming a dragon-pattern barrier around his body. At the same time, the image of an enormous divine kingdom engulfed him. Boom! Bang! A moment later, the golden light dragon thrust descended, unleashing a destructive wave of energy that swept through the surroundings. The majority of Pure Yang Palace had been destroyed and left in tatters. The little thieving cat and the golden dragon's sacred land members nearby couldn't help but stop and stare in shock at God, Lord Golden Emperor's battlefield. Whoosh! As the golden light faded, a ragged figure appeared in the center of the explosion, his body scorched black and tattered. Zhao Feng, I'll make you suffer a fate worse than death. God Lord Golden Emperor's face was savage and terrifying as he stared at Zhao Feng. Golden liquid surged on his divine body as his injuries slowly healed. Lord Golden Emperor, the two first heaven god lords in the rear couldn't help but call out. They hadn't expected God, Lord Golden Emperor, to suffer such a heavy loss at the hands of Zhao Feng. If this operation failed, the Golden Dragon Sacred Land would lose all face. Swoosh, swoosh. The two first heaven god lords began to move. They knew that Zhao Feng was strong, so they didn't get too close. They only attacked from a distance to support God, Lord Golden Emperor, and interfere with Zhao Feng. Seeking death, Zhao Feng's eyes focused, once more flashing with dreamy and dazzling light. God Lord Golden Emperor's heart tightened. He had truly been intimidated by the ninth god Eye's abilities. Intrusive dream. Zhao Feng quickly created a dream dimension and scanned the area with his left eye. In a flash, the two first heaven god lords were powerless to resist, and their minds were sucked into Zhao Feng's dream dimension. God Lord Golden Emperor, as a third heaven, had a stronger resistance. At the same time, God Lord Golden Emperor noticed that the two first heaven god lords of the Golden Dragon Sacred Land had dazed eyes, as if they had been struck dumb. What's going on? God Lord Golden Emperor sensed that something was wrong and put all his strength into resisting the pull of Zhao Feng's left eye. Bang! A moment later, countless wounds appeared on the divine bodies of the two god lords behind him, and in the end, their divine bodies and souls exploded. God Lord Golden Emperor's hair stood on end at this sight. The two first heaven god lords were behind him, extremely far from Zhao Feng. However, a single glance was enough to cause the bodies of those two divine masters to explode, their bodies and souls destroyed. Even more frightening was that God Lord Golden Emperor could do nothing to stop it, much less understand what was going on. Whoosh! In God Lord Golden Emperor's moment of terror, Zhao Feng's body flashed forward. God Lord Golden Emperor was at his weakest right now, and he could not be given a chance to catch his breath. Within the primal chaos lightning vortex, Zhao Feng wielded the primal chaos tribulation lightning sword and madly slashed at the God Lord. Kid, just what did you do just now? God Lord Golden Emperor was still fearful of what had just happened. Thwish! With a wave of the space-time robe, a time/slash flew forward. With the two ancestral artifact fragments in the space-time robe, Zhao Feng could still use them to attack. Boom! Bang! Crash! God Lord Golden Emperor gripped his golden dagger and did his utmost to block Zhao Feng's furious barrage of attacks. But he had just been injured by Zhao Feng's god-eye duplication and had yet to recover. And Zhao Feng's primal chaos energy had the ability to devour and absorb, making it stronger the more he fought. If this continues, the situation isn't good. Under Zhao Feng's barrage of attacks, God Lord Golden Emperor was finally unable to hold on. If this continued, his injuries would only worsen. God Lord Golden Emperor clenched his teeth and began to flee. Want to leave? Zhao Feng coldly snorted as he pursued. Lord Golden Emperor. The two Golden Dragon Sacred Land experts fighting with the little thieving cat, and Zhao Kong couldn't help but call out in alarm. The third heaven god, Lord Golden Emperor, had actually been defeated by Zhao Feng and forced to flee. Chapter 1494. Lord Golden Emperor. The other two god lords of the Golden Dragon Sacred Land exclaimed in shock. The third heaven god, Lord Golden Emperor, had actually been defeated by Zhao Feng and forced to flee. Down below, the Shadowstream Peak Master and the Pure Yang Palace Master seemed petrified, not knowing what to say. Not even a third heaven god lord was a match for Zhao Feng. Their previous actions had been nothing more than suicidal. Besides the god lords, a small number of powerful ancient gods and half-step god lords in Pure Yang Palace could see a portion of the battlefield, but it was enough to leave them speechless in shock. Xiao, God Lord Golden Emperor, did not leave, continuing to circle the area. This was because he didn't want to admit his failure and wanted to salvage the situation. As long as he was given time to catch his breath, he would be able to recover. At that time, there would still be a chance to turn things around. However, after being heavily injured, his speed was far inferior to Zhao Feng's. Swish, swish, swish. While chasing, Zhao Feng brandished the chaotic thunder tribulation sword in his hand again and again, slashing out one chaotic thunder tribulation sword after another. Zhao Feng bit down on Divine Lord Golden Emperor, not giving him any time to catch his breath. Although he had defeated God, Lord Golden Emperor, he had primarily relied on the Dream God Eye. Just now, he had used Dreamification, Intrusive Dream, God Eye Illusory Oblivion, God Eye Duplication, and other Eye Bloodline techniques. Dreamification lasted the longest while the God Eye Duplication duplicated the killing blow of a third heaven. Both consumed a lot of energy. Thus, he would not be careless and bite down on God, Lord Golden Emperor. Golden Pattern Protection. God Lord Golden Emperor clenched his teeth and used his secret defensive skill to block Zhao Feng's primal chaos attack. Space-time slash. The space-time robe waved, unleashing a white silver blade that was both real and illusory. This was a special technique of the light race. It possessed incredible penetrative power, and when combined with the space law, it was even stronger. As the silver blade descended, it pierced through God, Lord Golden Emperor's golden barrier. After piercing through the defensive secret skill, the silver void blade's power was weakened, but it didn't affect it much. The silver blade pierced through God, Lord Golden Emperor's body, inflicting massive damage to his divine body and soul. This is the attack of the Light Clan. God Lord Golden Emperor was extremely experienced and immediately recognized it. The ancestral artifact fragment in Zhao Feng's hand had once been a part of the light race's ancestral artifact. Naturally, it could use this technique. Xiao. Zhao Feng seized the opportunity to chase after him. Using the power of the law of space and time, he slashed continuously with the chaotic thunder tribulation sword. Ah! God Lord Golden Emperor screamed. At this time, he couldn't care about anything else. He sent a spiritual message to the other two members. The other side, the two god lords of the Golden Dragon's Sacred Land left Zhao Kong, the little thieving cat, and the Black Destruction Dragon behind to reinforce God, Lord Golden Emperor. From the start to the end, Zhao Kong and the others were in a disadvantageous position. Thus, it was not difficult for the other party to break free from their restraints. Junior, stop right now, or you'll regret it. A second heaven god, Lord, threatened. Oof. Zhao Feng snorted coldly. If he showed mercy this time, he would really regret it. The golden dragon's sacred land was unreasonable and had directly attacked to seize the ninth god eye, so there was no need for him to show any mercy. Xiao, his eyes cold and harsh, a miniature primal chaos divine sword shot out his left eye and pierced through God Lord Golden Emperor's body. After so many attacks, God Lord Golden Emperor was not even at half his peak strength, and his injuries were so severe that he would not be able to recover in a short time. Seeking death, the golden tattooed woman waved her whip, which transformed into a golden dragon that coiled around Zhao Feng. It seems to me that you're the ones seeking death. Zhao Feng's eyes chilled as he turned to the golden tattooed woman and the golden-robed elder. Dooish. Space rippled as Zhao Feng approached the golden-robed elder. God Lord Golden Emperor was a third heaven god lord. Although Zhao Feng had defeated him, killing him would be very difficult. But this golden-robed elder was only a second heaven god lord. Die. The enormous primal chaos, tribulation, lightning sword rumbled down, its astonishing power causing the golden-robed elder to grimace and prepare to retreat. But the space-time law greatly restricted him in every aspect, making him powerless to dodge. Don't even think about it. The golden tattooed woman immediately stopped him. God Lord Golden Emperor quickly retreated to recover from his injuries. Primal Chaos Lightning Vortex. Zhao Feng circulated his primal chaos energy and tribulation lightning energy to create a pitch-black vortex that blocked the golden tattooed woman's attack. The sword continued to slash down. The golden-robed elder's pupils constricted as he punched again and again, unleashing one massive ball of golden light after another. But his divine power attacks were incapable of shaking Zhao Feng's primal chaos tribulation lightning sword, and some of his energy was even absorbed. Just as the sword was about to descend, the image of a divine kingdom appeared around the golden-robed elder. Bang! The sword slashed down, and the divine kingdom image trembled as Zhao Feng cut a hole in it. The golden-robed elder flew backward, vomiting blood. Although Zhao Feng had not destroyed his divine kingdom just now, he had inflicted severe damage. But this was not the end. Zhao Feng continued his pursuit. Bzzz. A primal chaos tribulation lightning sword shot out his left eye and pierced through the golden-robed elder's body. With Zhao Feng's soul intent, even if his golden-robed elder had lived for a very long time and had a powerful will, he was still incapable of enduring Zhao Feng's eye bloodline technique. His face ghastly pale, his body plummeted to the ground. Bang! A primal chaos sword energy slashed through the air, killing the golden-robed elder. Dead. In the distance, God Lord Golden Emperor grimaced. He had originally planned to have two God Lords hold down Zhao Feng while he rested and recovered from his injuries before attacking Zhao Feng. But a few moments later, a second Heaven God Lord was slain. It's your turn now. After killing one person, Zhao Feng turned to the golden tattooed woman. No! The golden tattooed woman was terrified to see her companion die at Zhao Feng's hands. In a one-on-one battle, she had no doubt that Zhao Feng would kill her. Junior, stop. God Lord Golden Emperor immediately charged out. He had also seen through Zhao Feng's intentions. But how could he let Zhao Feng get what he wanted? God Lord Golden Emperor had not recovered much from his injuries, so Zhao Feng ignored him and continued to attack the golden tattooed woman. At the same time, the Black Destruction Dragon and the Little Thieving Cat also arrived. The three of them followed Zhao Feng's orders and surrounded the golden tattooed woman. As for Zhao Feng, he relied on the primal chaos lightning vortex to block God, Lord Golden Emperor, while attacking the golden tattooed woman. In the distance, the Pure Yang Palace Master and Shadow Stream Peak Master quietly watched the battle. Another one died? Zhao Feng has truly offended the Golden Dragon Sacred Land this time. The Pure Yang Palace Master was nervous. This was an expert of Sacred Land, which meant that it had a God King expert. So what if he's offended? As long as Zhao Feng knows how to endure, he'll definitely become a God King in a few thousand years. The Shadow Stream Peak Master couldn't help but snort. Ever since Zhao Feng killed the first god lord of the Golden Dragon Sacred Land, the two sides had already formed a mortal grudge. Killing a few more wouldn't make a difference. At this moment, he rather admired Zhao Feng for not fearing the might of the sacred land and heavily injuring a third heaven god lord. Boom! Bang! Crash! Explosions rang out, and the entire world was still trembling. Under the combined attacks of Zhao Feng, Zhao Kong, the Black Destruction Dragon, and the Little Thieving Cat, the peak's second heaven god Lord Golden Emperor was covered in wounds. In the back, God Lord Golden Emperor was attacking with all his strength while Zhao Feng used the Primal Chaos Lightning Vortex to block all his attacks. After all, God Lord Golden Emperor was heavily injured and could no longer use much of his power. Intrusive Dream. The Dream God I once more used its origin battle skill. Zhao Feng stared at the golden tattooed woman. The golden tattooed woman had seen Zhao Feng use this move before, so she immediately turned around, not daring to look into Zhao Feng's eyes. But even so, the powerful allure of Zhao Feng's left eye continued to affect her mind, causing her condition to deteriorate. Boom! Bang! Crash! As her condition deteriorated, the golden tattooed woman was heavily injured by several attacks. At a certain moment, she lost control of her mind and entered a dreamy fairyland. But in reality, this was a land of death. In Zhao Feng's dream, the golden tattooed woman was powerless to resist and was easily crushed by Zhao Feng. In the real world, the golden tattooed woman's life energy plummeted and her body exploded. Another person had been killed. At this moment, 4 of the nameless god lords of the Golden Dragon Sacred Land had fallen, leaving only the heavily injured god, Lord Golden Emperor. God Lord Golden Emperor finally realized that he had been utterly defeated. Run! God Lord Golden Emperor burned his bloodline and divine power, transforming into a streak of golden light that shot off into the distance. Now that everyone else was dead, he was the only one left. Why did he have to fight against Zhao Feng? Thouish. With a wave of the space-time robe, Zhao Feng collected his subordinates, and then he pursued. The area around Pure Yang Palace finally quieted down, but none of them could forget what had happened today. The low-level true gods and ancient gods found it impossible to imagine just what sort of experts had fought on this day. As for the top-class ancient gods and god lords, they were stunned. 4 god lords of the Golden Dragon Sacred Land had been killed, and the strongest third heaven god lord had been forced to flee. As the pursuit progressed, news of this matter began to spread. But Zhao Feng only pursued for a while before giving up. Although he was strong, the allure of the 9th god was too great. He could not guarantee his own safety, so it was better not to be too ostentatious. Moreover, this was the territory of the Golden Dragon Sacred Land. Other experts might already be on their way to kill Zhao Feng. Thus, Zhao Feng gave up on pursuing God, Lord Golden Emperor. A few days later, in Pure Yang Palace, an incomparably powerful pressure suddenly appeared. The Pure Yang Palace Master and Ao Hongwang were alarmed and charged out. Kaboom! In the distant horizon, a golden glow accompanied by a supreme divine might began to spread. At this moment, all the members of Pure Yang Palace, including the Pure Yang Palace Master, could not endure this divine might and prostrated themselves on the ground. Swish! A golden figure descended in the sky above Pure Yang Palace. In a flash, the entire world seemed to have been transformed into a world of metal. Even the grass and trees seemed to have been transformed into metal, becoming extremely tough. This terrifying phenomenon made the Pure Yang Palace Master's heart tremble. He had already guessed at the identity of the newcomer. Pure Yang Palace respectfully greets God, King, Heaven Dragon. The Pure Yang Palace Master respectfully said, God King Heaven Dragon was the God King expert of the Heavenly Dragon Sacred Land. Tell me everything that happened to Zhao Feng. A voice came from next to God King Heaven Dragon. It was none other than God Lord Golden Emperor, who had been forced to flee by Zhao Feng. But before the might of a God King, he seemed so insignificant and unremarkable that the pure young palace master had not noticed him at first. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.